Nothing's going on yet. Alright, man, nothing just yet. I'm just waiting on the last one to get in. He has some mod issues. If I don't know if you're able to help him, if you can. But I'm just getting a lot of errors. First it was Ace error. Now we fixed that. We had him to reinstall Ace. Now he's getting CBA some error. So we're getting him to reinstall CBA, and Reed's helping him out a little bit. So I'm just waiting till like 7:30, 30 minutes past the hour. And we move him to classroom, do some orientation, and then hopefully he'll be fixed up and ready to go by the time we go through over orientation. Yeah, I didn't want them to accidentally, because they're breaking immersion a lot, so I don't want to hear that on the stream. Alright, gentlemen. Go ahead. No, actually, we'll do it here, and then we go in the classroom. Hopefully, be in. Alright, so welcome to OSUT Day 1. And as those of you who didn't know, OSUT is basically a 4-day long course, making it comprising everything of BCT, and along with basic infantry AIT within the Army. So within OSA, like I said, it's a 4-day long course. Within the 3 days, we're going over a classroom portion, and along with an out of class portion, and then we're going over your FTX, or in other words, your practical exercise, along with your graduation. And within your graduation, you have to make sure you pass the quiz. Now, this quiz is an oral quiz. We give you a random question out of a pool of questions we have, or we might make up a question in our head that we want to tell you, and you have a 50-50 chance to either answer this question. If you get it incorrect, you're going to be recycled based off of the level of the question. You recycle back to OSUT Day 1 or back to recruit training. Alright, moving on to the next point. Then Day 1, we're going over basic radio communications, and then along with familiarization within your weapon systems, and then we're going over some formations if time is permitted with that. And then Day 2, we'll be going over basic movement and maneuver, along with CQB. And then Day 3, a PID course, you gain familiar with lives with our friendly assets and enemy assets, and then you'll be able to learn how to go through convoy procedures. And then lastly, land nav. And then Day 4, like I said, your FTX, where you get everything together that you learned during Day 1, 2, and 3. And then after you pass the first half of your graduation, then you're going over the oral quiz, and then that'll be the conclusion of Day 4, and you finally get to go get billeted. So I'm going to introduce myself. I am Sergeant J.E. Smith. I'm the OSUT instructor of Class Bravo. I'm going to go introduce Sergeant Margietta.
You understand it, and everybody fucking shakes their head yes and says that they understand it, and we go to do the practical part of it, and y'all start fucking up. Don't expect me to be nice about it. So, just God's sakes, ask questions. All right, that's all.
All right. Okay. Welcome to the party, Private Carter. All right. All right. And then with us, helping us today, let me get to front. With us today, Private Reed, Senior Airman Minazaki, and then Corporal McCoy. Corporal McCoy. I want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thanks, Sergeant. Corporal McCoy, Havoc 1-2 Alpha Fire Team Leader, and I'm training to be Assistant OSUT Instructor at this time. And that's all I got. Thanks, Sergeant.
Thank you, Corporal. Alright, so some quick things, like within 506 we are a realism unit, so we like to keep everything, or mostly everything that's happened in real life in the Army within this unit. So, first off with that is basically your bearing and demeanor. Whenever you address an NCO, you gotta address them by their rank and then their name. So, such as corporal or higher, you address them by their rank and name, so if there's a corporal near you, you're gonna address him as corporal, then his name. It can be same thing with specialists as well, but private, you just address them as private. Now, um, up to sergeant, all the way up to sergeant first class, you just address them by sergeant. If they're the rank of first sergeant or master sergeant or higher, you address them by the full name. I mean, by the full rank name. So, such as first sergeant, you can address them by first sergeant, not sergeant. Master sergeant, you address them by master sergeant, not sergeant. And then so on and so forth. Any questions with that?
No, Sergeant Smith.
Negative, Sergeant.
Alright.
Negative, Sergeant Smith.
Now, addressing officers, you address them by their rank, then their name. Same thing with addressing the COs. You address them by sir as well if you do like to. But however, you do not address lieutenants as in LT, that is an informal name. And that's something you have to actually earn the privilege to call them by LT. That is the same thing with the first sergeant. Let me go back to NCOs. You cannot refer to the first sergeant as top. That is something that you have to earn to actually address them as top. Am I understood?
Understood, Sergeant. Roger, Sergeant Smith.
Alright, lastly, with warrant officers, you address them as Mr. or Mrs. or just as warrant officers, but to keep your life easier, just say Mr. or Mrs. Now, if they are the rank of chief or higher, you address them as chief warrant officer. But same thing, Mr. or Mrs., but you don't address them as chief, because once again, that is an informal name that are only used by people who are respected by them. Alright, dearly friends with them. Now, we'll move on to calling the room at ease, or calling the classroom in like that. If you're in an official setting, if a senior NCO enters the channel, if it's an official setting such as like right now in a classroom, or if it is a during squad training like that, you'll refer to the room as, you'll basically say calling, you'll basically say IDs. So if a sergeant first class enters the channel, or the first sergeant enters the channel, you would say IDs. Now usually the NCO in the channel would say IDs. Sorry, the senior NCO before that NCO joins the channel usually will say IDs. So either Sergeant Marchiata and I will say class IDs. But if we do forget or are busy during instruction, then that's where the people who are below the NCO would say class IDs or room IDs. Now, the only exception to this is if the first sergeant is already in this channel and then a sergeant first class enters the channel, or a sergeant or a staff sergeant, you don't say room IDs. Or classroom IDs or room IDs. You don't say that because there's already someone higher than him in the channel. You everyone get that?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright, make sure you keep your faces to the front. If you need to move your head to the side, make sure you press the Alt key. And then you can move your head to swivel. Alright, then lastly, calling the room to attention. This is if a officer joins the channel such as a lieutenant or higher. If they join the channel and there's no one else higher than them, then you'll call the room to attention. If there is someone higher than that officer in the channel, then you don't call the room to attention. Alright, any questions with that?
No, Sergeant.
Negative, sir.
Negative, Sergeant.
Alright, so throughout your time in OSA, such as what the Sergeant Marchard said, we're going to be asking you questions. And we want you to basically answer those questions. And then at the same time, we expect you to access any questions that you may be confused to. So to do that, you'll press Q. In side chat, if you have any questions, and then when we have the time, we'll stop and address your question. If there is a break and we're not talking anymore, we ended a sentence or whatever, you can say, Sergeant, question from Private McPierce or Private Tellis, as long as you let us know your name so that we can say, go ahead, Private Tellis. We don't know everyone else's voices yet. Then lastly, if you have a comment to anything that we've said or an answer to a question, you'll type a C in chat. Sometimes most of the questions we ask you, we don't expect you to type a C. You could just go ahead and just say the answer out there. But like I said, comments for if you want to answer a question or if you have a comment to something that we just said. Any questions with asking a question or responding to questions?
Negative.
All right. Now, when you respond to a question, it is common courtesy outside of OSUT, I shouldn't say that, but when you get into a billet and throughout OSUT, it's common courtesy and it's not required, but common courtesy for you to say thank you, sergeant, thank you, corporal, thank you, specialist, thank you, private, so like that. So it's common courtesy to basically thank your fellow peers and your higher NCOs. Now, as Sergeant Major doesn't really enforce it that hard on it. However, when you get billeted, it is basically expecting you to basically give out common courtesy to your higher NCOs or any of your NCOs along with officers, because they will expect you to say thank you, Lieutenant, or say Lieutenant. Okay, am I understood from there?
Yes, Sergeant.
All right. So remember how to respond to questions from NCOs and from officers and along with your fellow peers. All right, we'll go ahead and move on. So the agenda for the rest of your OSUT basically is during day one, like I said, you'll be going over individual soldier skills, such as radio communications and everything like that. Then day two, movement and maneuver. Then day three, basic navigation. And then working with your vehicles. And then day four, lastly, is your practical exercise and your graduation. So this is basically our building block approach to putting you out to getting billeted within the unit. Now, next is our goals within OSUT. So basically, I told you before, OSUT is a blend of U.S. Army Basic Combat Training and 11 Bravo Infantrymen Advanced Individual Training. So, for you guys need to know this, is that every soldier is first and foremost a rifleman. And within OSUT, we give you those skills to basically have you learn how to be a rifleman and an infantryman within the unit. So we build off those skills, help you to actually become the perfect, not perfect rifleman, begin the path of being a perfect rifleman and a perfect soldier. So there are 5 individual infantry skills that we hope to accomplish and teach you throughout OSUT. And those are shoot, move, communicate, survive, and sustain. I'll say it again for your notes. Shoot, move, communicate, survive, and sustain. Alright, now we basically want to allow you to actually know the basic introduction to the tactics that we use here in the 506. That's what we basically want to accomplish here within OSUT for you to know that. And then also, throughout OSUT, we're giving you the basic template for what we're teaching you here. So basically giving you a basic template of what is adequate for you to know and what is needed. But it allows you guys as soldiers to basically fill in any information that is needed for you to improve those, to improve that template to make it better. Am I understood from there?
Understood.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and give you the overview of day 1. Basically, we're going to go over some individual soldier skills, so not your infantry soldier skills, but your individual soldier skills. And throughout day 1, we want to accomplish communications, your basic weapons, your basic engagements, techniques, and your basic engagement procedures. And these all come in with your pro words. And that I'll tell you later on. So then day 1, you guys, everyone remembers their infantry soldier skills?
Yes, Sergeant.
I'm sorry, individual infantry skills. Alright. So within the infantry individual infantry skills, we want to accomplish communicate and shoot today. So that's our goal here, is to go over shoot and communicate within your individual infantry skills. Alright, so our leadership philosophy here in OSUT is basically based off this one quote. Well, one of these quotes is basically leadership is not about being in charge, but leadership is about taking care of those in your charge. What that means is that it's not about leading someone and telling them what to do. It's based off of you making sure that your men understand and that you're taking care of them and making them get on the path of being a perfect soldier. Now, this can relate to actually when you're in a actual operation you're moving. You don't just tell your men to go to a certain location and expect them to do it. It's your job as a leader to basically give them a route to get to that position and make sure you get there safely. How to get them safely? By looking at your map and seeing what are safest routes. Make sure you don't cross any minefields if you see it throughout your movement. That's how you take care of those in your charge, not just giving them an order and leading them. Everyone understands from there?
Roger, Sergeant.
Alright. Here in S3, the training staff in S3 is basically responsible to ensure that every soldier is prepared to succeed. So we want to make sure that you do succeed throughout OSUT. We have the standpoint that nothing here needs to be taken for granted, or should be taken for granted, and that every soldier is given the knowledge and skills to thrive within this unit. So within the 506, even though 506 is a global brotherhood of like-minded people that who have either served in the army or currently serving in the army, and we do make up people who aren't in the army, but at least want to get a feeling of actually being in the army. So OSUT is a place where taking responsibility for yourself and care for your brothers has significant meaning. This is a place to build friendships and develop yourself as a leader. So you can use everything you learn here in OSUT to your leadership skills outside of the army. It could be whatever than that if you want to become a manager whatsoever. Now, because we take our responsibility as NCOs trainers seriously, the bar is kept very high in OSUT. So you will be instructed on specific procedures for performing tasks, and we expect everyone, every single person right here in front of me, to to follow the instructions and procedures that we've given you and demonstrate it by the numbers. What I mean by the numbers is basically what we've shown you. We expect you to demonstrate it better than what we've shown you. Everyone understands?
Roger, Sergeant.
Alright. Now, throughout OSUT, this is the technique that we use. Is basically explain, demonstrate, and then the practice. This is the approach that we use. I'll say it again. Explain, demonstrate, and then practice. So every topic is covered. We'll follow that format with time is permitting. So we're going to explain the instruction. Then we're going to demonstrate the instruction, so we can show you how it's supposed to sound like or look like, or be done like. And then it's your turn to practice on that and show us that you get what we've taught you. Alright, any questions?
No question, Sergeant.
Alright, make sure you guys, oh yeah, I forgot to say that as well. So yeah, if you ask you a question like, you guys understand, make sure you say you're tracking. If you have any questions, say no, Sergeant. And if you do, then you say yes, Sergeant. That way I know who has a question. Alright, so we'll try this again. Any questions?
No, Sergeant.
Negative,
Sergeant.
Negative, Sergeant.
Alright,
Negative, Sergeant.
Corporal McCoy,
What's that, Sergeant?
front center. Go ahead and take him to the classroom for me.
Right, that, Sergeant. All right, gentlemen, right face. Follow me.
What's up, Tiger Shark? It's like my mic is going in and out for you guys when I was talking the whole time, or no?
All right, hold it up right here.
We got told of 8
All right, before you enter this classroom,
privates today. We were supposed to actually have 11, I think. I don't know if maybe my math was incorrect.
In the front row, fill them in as needed. Private Carter, remove that cover.
I mean, lose the hat.
Put your hat in your uniform. There you go. All right, head on in. Fill in the front row first.
All right, when you get inside, form a line. Actually, don't sit in your seats yet. Forgot something.
Okay.
User left your channel.
No. Off your seats. I said come over here in front of me, form a line. Go ahead and get yourself a radio first, actually. So form a line in front of me. Hey, Sergeant, you logged in as admin?
Yes.
Okay.
Take care of it right now.
Yeah, but they don't want to drop in front of these guys. Make them think. I pass out or whatever.
Yep.
Actually, I guys had to switch scenes and I want you guys to see the password. Damn password. Alright, here we go. Transitioning it back.
Alright. Retarded. Alright.
Alright, come over here.
Gonna do
One,
this.
is it this board right here?
Yeah.
Alright, go ahead and just form a single file. Form a file. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and grab your radios from the arsenal. You're going to get an ANPRC. You can form a double file if you need be. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and grab a ANPRC radio.
152.
And that's it. That's the only thing you should be grabbing from this arsenal. Yep, so ANPRC 152, not 154.
I'm gonna just go grab some radio out of the armory.
Well, the arsenal's right here. They should be able to know how to grab it. Alright, go ahead and fill out those first two seats once you grab your radio and go ahead and sit down. And to sit down, you go ahead and use your interaction key. If you do know that. So, hey, Hardman, I got a question for you.
Sergeant, you said 152, right?
Yes, affirm. ANPRC 152.
Thank you, Sergeant.
You're welcome. Hey, Hardman, if you can hear me, what's ETA on our new training map? And now, guys, don't worry. They're just trying to get you guys seated better. They're not trying to touch you in any inappropriate way. So no need to file a complaint.
Nope, that's your job.
Understood, Sergeant. Don't complain about what feels good, Sergeant.
I forget my interact key, Sergeant.
It is gonna be your Windows key.
You still having this issue?
Yeah, still having this issue.
Yeah, we're planning to fix it soon. Well, they're planning to fix it soon. With our new
Yeah,
New
shop
location.
is- Alrighty. So everybody has your radios. Everybody can hear me, correct?
Roger.
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, Roger, Sergeant.
Roger, Sergeant.
All right. So the radios we use are pretty much the same ones they use in the military. Just without the bells and whistles. So each radio we have has several available programmable channels. Each channel contains a frequency, allowing us soldiers to communicate with one another over their assigned networks. So we have to program the frequencies manually every time we get kitted out. So this is something that will come second nature as you continuously do it through squad trainings, platoon trainings, and actual platoon or task force deployments. So each frequency represents a network which corresponds to your billing. So for myself, an example, since I am 1-4 Charlie team lead, I have talk on 1-4 Charlie to my assistant. But since I'm a team lead, I also have to talk on another channel or another frequency, which is a squad frequency that allows me to communicate with my squad leader. Now, that is what I need to talk on for my billet. Now, since my assistant is not a team lead, he should only be talking to me over my team net. The only time he should step up and talk on to squad net with the squad leader is if I go down. So it's a little bit different for weapons because there's only 2 people per fire team, whereas the rifle squads have 4 members of a rifle team. So the assistant has a little bit more responsibility being in a fire weapon squad, because if I go down, he automatically becomes 2IC. Whereas when you're in a rifle squad or in a rifle team, you have 3 other people alongside you in that team. So chances are you might not step up unless you want that responsibility, which I suggest if you want to move up in this unit. All right, so back into the radio, we have calling stations. My calling station is Havoc 1-4 Charlie, whereas my boss's calling station is Havoc 1-4 Actual, or Havoc 1-4. Here, Sergeant Smith and I will be your actual. We will be your squad lead. Throughout the next 3 days, or 4 days if you count today, well, actually the next 3 days, because we're not going to make anybody a team lead today. But the next 3 days, multiple people will have the chance to become team lead and see how that position is ran. And you will be communicating with us directly over comms. But before we can get on to that, we need to learn how to program this radio. So if everybody will hit left control P or Papa, everybody should have a radio pop up on the left side of the screen, correct?
Roger.
Yes, Sergeant. Roger, Sergeant.
Roger, Sergeant.
All right.
Roger, Sergeant.
So right now it pops up. It has just a random frequency plugged in. So it should be C1 and a random frequency. That C1 is your current channel, which is channel 1. And the frequency is just random. We're going to take and delete that in a minute. So what you want to do, you have multiple ways you can delete it. You can highlight it with your mouse and hit delete, or you can hit the CLR button on the radio. Once you get that, you should just have channel 1 and a blank screen. Now at that point, just for purposes and doing this, everybody here is going to be on that same channel.
Hey, Knight, Baker, how you doing, man?
Excuse me, that frequency.
Sorry for the
that
late
we're gonna
response,
plug
man.
into
I
this
was
channel.
all tapped, my bad.
The frequency I want you to plug into channel 1 is going to be the team net. Now we have multiple teams per rifle squad. You have Alpha and Bravo. Right now we're just going to put in Alpha fire team frequency. That frequency is 100.1. So you put that in, you're going to hit the E and T button, and screen should stop flashing, and you should have channel 1, and it should be 100.1. Now when I hit caps locks, you should all hear me. All right, so who has radio set? Alright, so if somebody has their fucking speaker pressed.
User joined your channel.
You want to make sure that it's not pressed. You got to go down to the right face and arrow button, right under the number 9 key on the radio, and you want to press that
How you
until it
been,
says headphones
Nick?
on your bottom right hand corner.
Been doing fine,
Everybody
Nick?
do that. Make sure you're on headphones.
Sergeant.
Yep. Send it. All right, so everybody go. Nope. All right, I think your mic is picking up your speakers. Something, Ramirez. You gotta be mindful of that.
Copy, Sergeant.
So everybody hears me through both ears, correct?
Roger, Sergeant.
That's a Roger, Sergeant.
All right, so we're gonna change that because I want you to learn how to program 2 channels into your radio and be able to monitor both channels at the same time. So right now you're listening to this one frequency in both ears, which is fine.
User left
Normally
your channel.
that is fine. But since some of y'all will have the opportunity to become team leads for a day here, you will have to listen to 2 channels, and that can get fucking pretty hectic when you're listening to 2 channels and both of them are blaring in your ear. It helps with your comprehension of them when you split them up between left and right ear. So we're going to take this team net, this fire team frequency, and we're going to have it come through in your left ear only. The way we're going to do
Glad
this
you're doing good.
is the bottom left-hand corner, which is a 0. You're going to hit it once, and you should see left only pop up underneath the volume on your right-hand side. So when I talk now, everybody should hear me in just their left ear, correct?
Loud and proud, Sergeant.
Favorite
Excellent.
Netflix show? I had a
Clear,
lot,
Sergeant.
Yep.
but
So
one show I did
right
like.
now we have
The first time I got
successfully
Netflix,
programmed
the
Team
show I
Net
really did like was
as our first
The
channel.
Last Kingdom.
So since we need to have a second channel programmed so we can
But
monitor,
then I started watching
One
Seven
Net,
Last Kingdom, and then when Last Kingdom season 2 finally,
we need to hit
when I
the
finished
plus
watching
sign
all
on
2
the
of the
PRE
scenes, I mean 2
button,
of the
and
episodes,
that
sorry,
will bring us up
2
to
of the
channel 2.
seasons, and I binge watched it, which I never did.
We
When
want
I
to hit
binge
the
watched
CLR
it,
button,
I
clear
started
that out,
watching The Real
and
Husbands
we
of
want to put
Hollywood.
in frequency
Uh,
100.
what else was it? I
Hit
watched
enter.
Rain,
Now that
REIGN.
frequency is saved in your radio.
What else did I watch? Oh, I watched Super.
But
I watched
first
Superstore
off, we
on
need to switch this
Xfinity.
over to an
I
alternate
started watching
channel.
Superstore, and I forgot all the other. And I
We do
watched
that by hitting the left facing arrow, which now changes
Marvel's
the
Agents of
C2
Shield.
to an A2.
But one show I did like as well on but it's on Amazon Prime. It's
Everybody
called
has that point?
what's it
Roger,
called?
Sergeant. Yes, Sergeant.
Excellent.
Roger, Sergeant.
So, like I said,
It's this
we want
alternate
to
reality where the
split our ears up
the
between
Nazis, not Nazis,
frequencies.
but
We
Axis Power
made
1.
the team net in our left ear, so we're going to make the squad channel, the squad net, in our right ear. So we want to hit the 0 button. When you still hover over it, it should say stereo settings. We want to hit that twice. So when you see right ear only in your bottom right hand corner, now you will monitor this alternate 2 channel
Okay.
in your right ear. So whenever
Oh,
anybody talks
Longmire.
over that
Mm.
frequency, it'll come in through your
I've
right
seen
ear.
Longmire.
So
I
you
looked
can
at it. I was debating whether to watch it, but I haven't
differentiate
watched it
between
yet. But
your team
I forgot the
channel
name
and
of that.
your squad channel.
That TV show's called The Men in High Castle. You should watch it.
Before
You should watch The Men in High Castle. It's
we
very
can
nice.
do that, though,
But I think it's only on
we need
Amazon
to
Prime. So.
press the minus button on the PRE and bring it back
Oh,
to
I
channel
forgot.
1.
Also, my favorite movie
That's
also
a
is
big important part right there.
what's it called?
If you don't bring it back to channel 1,
But this I
you
think this
keep
is only
it
on
alternate
Xfinity.
2,
I don't know if it's on Netflix, but
you will not hear
my other favorite
anybody
show is
talking
The Game of
on
Thrones.
your first channel.
Yeah, Game of
So in
Thrones
order
is
to
one of my
make this
favorite
work
Netflix
right,
shows as
you
well.
need to bring it back to
But it's on
channel 1.
Xfinity as well. That's where I watch it on.
So you hear me talking on TeamNet in your left ear. Now you should hear me talking in your right ear on SquadNet. That happened for everybody?
Loud and proud, Sergeant.
Roger, Sergeant.
Excellent. So by default, if you want, you can change it up whenever, just as long as you know what you're doing. But by default, your caps lock is going to control your primary channel, which is channel 1. The T or Tango key will control your secondary, alternate, or SquadNet, depending on what that is programmed for.
Make sure you don't press cap lock or T for this little instruction. We'll let you know when to see if your radio works.
Yeah, because when you do it, you hear how I'm keying up. That goes through everybody that's on that frequency, so it can kind of get fucking aggravating when you hear people key up and not say anything.
Interrogative, Sergeant.
Did it?
If you wanted to talk on a tertiary channel, is there another key for that, for instance?
This is the only 2 channels you can talk. This is how the radio is set up. Now we do have long distance radios, but this is as how it's set up. This is what you can do. You can only talk on 2 channels.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Now, if you want to bind your key, you can do it to your mouse, whatever makes it easiest.
If I could add to that, your whole time here, even if you get to Lucia Billet, only nets you should be listening to is 2 nets until you get like to a task force level. You're a task force commander, and then you listen to like 3 nets. But for now, you should only worry about maybe 2 nets for now.
It's
Roger, Sergeant.
I know to you it makes sense for you to know what's going on at least like 2 grades higher, correct?
Roger.
Yeah. Not here. It doesn't make sense. I agree with you. It would be nice to know what the fuck's going on a platoon level. But the most you're gonna know, and the most I know, being a team lead, is what's going on at squad level. So it would be nice, but it's not. Even my assistant, which is 2IC of my fire team, he doesn't even get to listen onto SquadNet, which I think is retarded because he needs to know what the hell's going on if I go down. But communication is good between me and my assistant. That's where communication does come in to be handy. You want to pass down everything that you get from higher up and let him know. So definitely you want to have a good rapport with your battle buddy.
I used to
and
watch the
or,
70s show, man. I used to watch that when it was
fire team
out.
member. So, but I'm with you. It
I
would
don't
be
watch
nice to
it anymore.
monitor higher channels.
But I used to watch
Or
it like
higher
when I was
frequencies,
like
yep.
in middle school. When it was out
All right, so
on
we
TV.
successfully programmed our radios. Now, the 2 channels, like I told you, one's fire team and one is for SquadNet. You have, let me put it this way, this is how fire team this is how a rifle squad is set up. You have 1 rifle squad. You have 3 rifle squads per platoon and 1 weapon squad with that platoon. So you have a total of 3 rifle squads and 1 weapon squad. But we're just now dealing and teaching you about rifle squads. So 1 rifle squad has 2 fire teams. Each fire team has 4 members. You have a fire team leader, an AR, which is automatic rifleman. He carries this saw. You have the grenadier, which carries the M320. And then you have, last but not least, the rifleman. He carries either the AT4 or the M72 Law. That makes up a rifle fire team. 2 of those fire teams make up a rifle squad. So right now, the frequency I have y'all put in for channel 1 is the
No, like I
frequency
said, I've
for
seen it like
Alpha Fire
I said, I've
Team.
only seen it when I was in middle school, so I forgot all the
So that
characters
being
on there.
100.1 for Alpha Fire Team, could somebody take a guess at what the frequency for Bravo Fire Team would be?
10.
All I can remember is that these guys were in the
Excellent.
basement. That's all I can
Yes.
remember.
So since we have enough people to make 2 fire teams in this OSUT, we're going to be running 2 fire teams on day 2, 3, and 4. So you just got to pay attention on what fire team you put in on the next 3 days, because that depends on what frequency you put in for channel 1. So for the next 3 days, the only people that should be monitoring frequency 100, which is squad net, the squad, the net that will be talking to either Sergeant Smith or myself, will be the fire team leader.
Let's see when
Now,
you get back.
they will have a 2IC, which is second in charge. We will have, well, not us, that is the job of the fire team leader. They will pick a 2IC of said fire team. So if they go down, you always have somebody to step up and keep the information flowing and keeping that wheel spinning, those gears turning, and that fucking killing machine. So they, being 2IC, need to have access to that squad frequency pretty fast. Well, in order to do that, they will have the frequency 100 programmed as channel 2, and they will leave it like that. When their, or if their fire team leader goes down, they jump into their radio and click and make that C2 turn into an A2. Not to forget to go back to channel 1 after they do that, and they will call up on SquadNet
Welcome back.
saying that their team leader is down and that they're checking in or stepping up on frequency 100. So that will let Sergeant Smith or I know that Alpha or Bravo fire team leader is incapacitated, he's down, he's whatever, and that the second in charge of that fire team is stepping up. Everybody understanding that so far?
Roger that, son.
Roger, Sergeant.
Roger, Sergeant.
Excellent. All right, we're going to go over some phonetic numbers. We do use the phonetic alphabet somewhat, not extensively. Our maps do not have letters with the grids. We just have straight numeric grid numbers. That is something we'll go over on day 3. So don't worry about that too much. The phonetic numbers that we do use is going to be for numbers 3, 5, and 9. 3 will be set as tree, like the thing that grows out of the ground and has fucking leaves. TREE. 5 will be set as fife, FIFE, and 9 will be set as niner. Now, it does not mean you have to say those 3 numbers phonetically every time you say them. If I'm here having a conversation with Sergeant Smith, because he's my battle buddy, and he can hear me just fine, I can say 3, 5, or 9. The time you want to use a phonetic number is when you have important information that needs to be sent right the first time and not to be repeated because they misheard either 3, 5, or 9. So if you have a important direction or distance that needs to be called out, do so with the phonetic numbers, especially when
Yes.
you're in combat. But if you're within talking distance with somebody and it's not important, you don't
Oh,
have
yes, I
to
am a
use
sergeant.
phonetic number. All right, so we're gonna go with some pro words
Did you
that we
assume that was
use
Sergeant
when
Smith?
talking over the radio because brevity is important. Like I said, you're gonna have 4 people talking on TeamNet with each other, and you will have 2 team leads talking to your squad leader on SquadNet, but they will also have another 3 teams plus command talking to them in their other ear, just like you are. Being a team lead, you have your team talking to you in one ear and your squad leader talking to you in the other ear. So just like you got all that fucking voices and all that shit you gotta comprehend and delegate and keep them busy, they have the same responsibility, just in a little bit different of a way. So brevity is key when talking over the comms. First pro word is going to be "this is." Pretty much every time you key up a radio, the pro word "this is" going to come out your mouth. For an example, if I need to get in contact with Sergeant Smith, it would go just like this. Sergeant Smith, this is Sergeant Margiotta, over. I'm going to get to the pro word over in a minute. But you will use "this is" every time you key up that radio. So I just keyed it up and I said, Sergeant Smith, this is Sergeant Margiotta, over. He now knows that I am talking to him. I need him in communications now. So his reply would be, Sergeant Margiotta, this is Sergeant Smith. Go ahead, over. Now I know he's on that fucking the same wavelength that I'm on, and I can start sending my information.
I do Arma and I do Siege. Rainbow Six
Next
Siege.
time I key it up,
I do
it's
both.
be the exact same
Thanks
thing.
for
Sergeant Smith, this is Sergeant Margiotta.
thanks for the follow,
and I'm gonna go with the information that I
Legis
need
or
to give
Legis.
him.
Sorry, I don't know how to say your name. But thank you so much, man, for following.
You
I
always
stream
wanna say
every day. I stream
who
Siege and I
is
stream Twitch. I'm sorry. I stream
sending
Siege and I stream
that
Arma 3.
traffic and who they're sending it to.
You know,
Last thing you need is
I
somebody
stream
assuming who
Arma
the
3
fuck
on
is talking to
Tuesdays,
who.
Thursdays, and Sundays.
So
Siege
start
on
off
Mondays, Wednesdays, and
every
Fridays.
communication, every time you key
And
up
Saturdays
that radio
those
with
are my
you,
days where I just
this
stream
is
whichever
me.
one I want to stream. But some days you may see me streaming Siege
Next pro word is going to be
during
over.
Arma 3 days and Arma 3 during Siege days before I stream
Over.
that main
Think of
content.
it
If you know what I mean.
as you playing fucking catch with a football. The person initiating the conversation has the football. As soon as they say over, that football is now in the hands of the person receiving that communication. Now it's their time to talk. As soon as they're finished saying what they need to say, they will say over, and now that gives the other person the option to talk. Because it's a two-way communication, you don't have the beauty of talking over a cell phone where you can talk together. Here, you got to have strict rules so you can communicate effectively. So not talking over each other is fucking key. That's why over is being used. Over lets you know that they're done with what they had to say. Now you can fucking talk. The next pro word is out. After that communication is done, the person who initiated said communication will use the pro word
So
out
they get into the
at the very
so
end.
basically this isn't an operation,
So
it's
after
just
Sergeant
training.
Smith and I
This is part of our
had
training
our conversation, what
pop
we had to
line.
say, since
Sorry,
I
I'm sorry, I'm
initiated it,
reading you guys' messages
I would
really. I'm so
say,
sorry.
Sergeant
First, I'm going to go over
Smith,
Nick
this is
Hayberger
Sergeant
or
Margiotta,
Hotbreaker.
out.
I'm okay. Do you just do Arma
Right there,
War
lets
or
him
Arma
know
Life? I used to do
communication
Arma
between
3
us is
Life,
over,
but
and lets everybody
I
else
stopped
on that
because
frequency know
stupid things
that
that were going through
our
the Arma Life. I
communication
was
is
communicating
over
in.
with.
but I do Armor War.
And the channel,
Just,
excuse me,
I guess
the
it's very interesting when
frequency
you
is now
watch
clear for them
us
to use.
through our operations FTXs. But I soon
Somebody
plan to
has
decide to go.
control
I
of that
soon will go
frequency.
to back to Armor 3,
You need to
where you can see
refrain
me
from
trailing.
fucking talking over.
And it's okay that you
That's
messed
why
that
the
one
pro
up.
word over.
Now,
And when the
Legacy,
conversation is done,
you
out
ask, how do you
is
get into
used.
these operations? I get into you get into operations by joining the
Now,
506.
never use over and out together.
And I'll see you how to join the 506 right now.
They mean two very different things. I'm sure you heard on Hollywood Bullshit them using both those pro words together when they say over and out. That's just fucking wrong. Don't use it, because somebody hears you and they will let you know that that shit's wrong. Next pro word is going to be break. Think of break as a fucking comma or even a period in a sentence. You have a lot of information that needs to be sent over comms. Well, don't say it all at once and fucking drive the other person on the other side crazy trying to keep track of everything you're saying. Make it easy on them by using the pro word break. So you can break
So
up
that's
your
the
message
link to join
into
the unit.
smaller messages.
So you click on that 506R, click on that link, and it should take you to the
Private Miguel.
recruitment post.
So another example,
And
talking
then
to
you can
Sergeant
apply to the
Smith.
unit. But the
Say
requirements
Sergeant
of
Smith,
being
this is
in the
Sergeant
unit,
Margiata.
you have to be 18
I have
years
a
old or
PTR.
older. And then
Barrett.
secondly, you have to make sure you have a mic,
Say
and you have to own Armor
130
3, and
break.
you have to have Armor 3 Apex as
At
well.
that point, you released a
And then you go through the
key
training
to radio.
pipeline, which is recruit training, which is only like maybe an hour
Once
long.
you get to the next
And
part you
then
wanna send,
you sign up for a
rekey up the
class for
radio,
OSUT. OSUT is a 4-day long course,
then
comprised within 2 weeks. Unless you transfer
distance,
between classes, then you
such
could
and
go
such
through OSUT within
distance,
1 week. And
over.
after that, after
So
2 weeks,
instead of just
after 2
throwing
weeks of
all the
going through
information at once, you can
the
break up
training
that
pipeline,
communication
then
with the
you can
word break.
officially fill in for operations like
Just
that.
remember to let go of the key.
Well, you can automatically fill in for squad
keep
trainings
back up.
between trainings as a
Now,
PV1
while you're
while
doing
you're in
that,
the training
you don't
pipeline.
have to say, you, this is me, when you key back up. Because you used the pro word break, once you key back up, just continue on with your message. Everybody tracking so far?
Roger, Sergeant.
Roger, Sergeant.
Alright. So our next pro word is going to be wait over. You talk to anybody that's in a leadership position, and one of the worst things they hate is somebody not fucking responding when they're being called over the radio. Just use this pro word or the next one after this. These two pro words correspond to what I'm saying. Instead of letting that person that's calling you fucking hang on the radio, wondering what the fuck's going on, if you're down, you're captured.
I don't have a favorite
You're in
candy,
an overwhelming
but
firefight and you
if
need
I would have
help
to pick
or
one,
whatever. There's 1,000 things
it
going through
would
that person's
be.
head on why you're not responding on the intercom.
I'm a person who finds it very
Instead
hard
of
to
letting that
like
happen,
pick.
use this pro
Like
word
I hate
or
choices. It's hard
this
for me
next
to
pro
pick
word
to
after this
make a
that
decision.
we,
But
about to
if I
cover.
would say
The
favorite
first pro word for
candies
this
are
situation
Reese's, Sneakers,
would be
Butterfingers,
wait over.
Twix,
Those two words let the
and those ones
person
that could
you're
come up in my
telling
head. You're welcome, Legus.
that you're busy and you need roughly 30 seconds to a minute to get back with them. All you have to simply do is say, you, this is me, wait over. That's it. That little bit tells him all he needs or she needs to know. So you use the pro word wait over if you have 30 seconds to a minute that you need in order to get back into comms with them. Now, that also keeps that frequency locked down. So you still have control. You and that person that's calling for you still has control of that frequency. Now, if you know you're going to be longer than that and you don't want to hold up the frequency, you can use this pro word, which will be wait out. Wait out lets them know that you're busy and you need longer than a minute to respond back to them calling you. So it tells them that you need more than a minute, but it also lets everybody else know that's on that frequency, that the frequency is now cleared for use by somebody else. The next pro word is Roger. Roger simply means I have received your I have received your last transmission and understand it. That's all Roger is. Next pro word is Wilco. That is a condensed form of will comply. Wilco is I have received your last transmission. You understand it and you will comply. So if I told Corporal McCoy to take a fire team and go get them to the supply sergeant to get kitted out, all he would have to tell me is Wilco, and that's it. I know that he fucking understands what I want him to do, and he's gonna go do it. If he said Roger, then that just tells me that he understood what I said, but he's not gonna make it happen. Everybody understand the difference between Roger and Wilco?
Roger.
Tracking
Roger, Sergeant.
Roger.
Excellent. Next one is probably one of the most important ones. It is say again. Say again is to be used in place of repeat. You don't want to say repeat over the radio. Repeat is a pro word used by the mortar teams to repeat their last fire mission. So if by some fucking miracle they hear repeat over the radio and they're not paying attention and they just start lobbing rounds back out on that last fire mission and friendlies have moved into that position, some bad shit could happen. So we do not use the word repeat over comms. It's always say again. If somebody says something and you didn't hear it all, instead of saying repeat that, you're going to say again your last. And they will say again what they transmitted. Yep, go Corporal McCoy.
Thanks, Sergeant. Just to emphasize the importance of this, you might, if you're not 11 Charlie indirect fire mortarman, you should just remove the word repeat from your fucking vocabulary. Time now. Thank you, Sergeant.
Not a problem. I don't even use repeat anymore. People look at me weird at work because I say fucking say again. So there's a lot of shit you're gonna, if you're here long enough, you will rewire your brain in saying certain words differently or phrases. If we happen to be outside and I catch somebody saying that, I'll fucking drop a mortar on your head. So refrain from saying repeat. Let's see. Correction is the next pro word. If you started saying something and you fuck up, say you fuck up a distance and you got a 5 and a 2 wrong or whatever, you would say correction and send that information over again from where it was last correct. So you just say correction, distance 152, instead of 125. So that's all you would have to say is correction, distance 152. You know, it's pretty simple. You don't have to get into a big discussion about it. Remember, brevity, to the point, and concise. Next pro word is interrogative. You heard Private Morris say that earlier. Interrogative means you have a question or you need confirmation. Now, the right way to use it over the radio is not to say, well, let's take it from the top. Say I had a question for Sergeant Smith. I would not say, Sergeant Smith, this is Sergeant Aggia to enter, over. I'll get him initiated with my contact first. And he'll come back, send it. And I would say, Sergeant Smith, this is Sergeant Margiotta, interrogative, and then start asking my question or confirmation.
It's gonna be
That's not how
talking
it
for
works.
now. We're gonna be go over
You're
shooting
saying
soon.
interrogative
Soon.
to let him know you have a question or you
So
need some kind of
the
confirmation.
shooting that we'll be going over soon,
Now,
and it will
gives
be
him the option to either say,
will be towards the
go
end.
with your question or send
That's
it,
where they'll be shooting the rifles, and
or
they'll be
he
shooting
can
their
fucking
launcher.
say wait over or wait out because he doesn't have time for it just yet.
I guess
So
I'm sorry, guys.
instead
I'm
of
seeing
you,
messages. I'm sorry. I'm all tapped trying to do some research work.
starting that conversation with him and just throwing that question straight at him without giving him a chance to say that he can
About an hour or
answer
two.
is a waste of time for both of y'all because you might
But
be in the middle of
maybe
it
shorter.
and he might tune you out for most of it and you just wasted your time and his time. So give him the option to either tell you to go with it or wait over or wait out. So it should go just like this. Sergeant Smith, this is Sergeant Margiotta, over. He'll come back with Sergeant Margiotta, this is Sergeant Smith, go, over. And I will come back with Sergeant Smith, this is Sergeant Margiotta, interrogative, over. And at that point, he has the option to either say go, send it, or wait over or wait out. That's how it should be done. Next pro word is correct. It's just like saying yes. That's all it is. Simple. Correct. Somebody asks you a question on a distance, description, degree, whatever. Fucking whatever that question might be, and it needs to be with a positive confirmation, then it will be correct. If it's wrong or something is not right, you will say wrong. Simple as that. Now, if somebody reads back let's say, a grid reference or distance or description of degrees, and they say it wrong, you can correct them after they finish and saying, this is me wrong. The correct distance, description, distance, whatever, and go with the correct one. So you can use both of them in the same. Everybody tracking on that.
Roger, Sergeant.
Understood, Cedric.
Yep. It's all about being brevity, being quick, clean, and concise. Last but not least is break. That is if you have something very important to say that is more important than what is being transmitted over the comms at that time. So instead of, let's say your fire team leader and your fire team is being engaged by a BMP or a piece of armor, and the other fire team leaders having a conversation or whatever on that net with the squad leader. Well, you need assistance. I'm gonna get with you in a second, Private Tells. So you need to break in on that net. Instead of just fucking talking over them two talking with something more important, you will go actual, this is, let's just say for
See you
shits and
soon, Nick.
giggles, your alpha team lead. You would go alpha, excuse me, actual, this is alpha, break, 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 over. At that point, those two will stop talking, and you will now gain control of said net with your squad leader, which is actual. And then you can go with your emergency traffic.
User in your channel timed out.
You had a question, Private?
Roger that, Sergeant. In place of wrong, can we also use negative, or is that not?
Yeah, you could use
proper?
negative.
Roger that, Sergeant. Thank you.
Yep. Just use negative, wrong. Just don't fucking start making a sentence out of it like, no, that's not right. You know, you just said fucking multiple roads that you could have just said one word. Alright. So since we went over that, we are now going to go over how to do a we gotta go over how to do a proper radio check. This is something you're gonna do every time you get into a server with a squad training, platoon training, all that good stuff. It's even good practice if you decide to do some mini fun ops that some of our brothers here in the 506 put on. Just ace interact and sit back down, gentlemen.
Was he lose the connection?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he can drop completely. Alright, well, we're going to start it off here. I'll get with him as soon as he gets back. So this is how you do a proper radio check. This is how you're going to do it every time here. No ands, ifs, or buts. It's good practice to do it, even if you do like those mini fun ops some of our brothers here put on. It's just for fun. So, yes, you definitely going to want to write this down. I'm going to go part for part slowly so y'all can write it down. So the first part is going to be now this is just going to be generic for name, just happens to be Sergeant Smith's last name, but it will go Private Smith. This is Alpha, radio check, frequency 100.1 over. I'm going to say it again. Private Smith, this is Alpha, radio check, frequency 100.1 over. Next section will be, excuse me, the next part of this radio check will be Alpha. This is Private Smith. I have you Lima Charlie or loud and clear on frequency 100.1 over. Now the last part of that will be Private Smith. This is Alpha. Copy. Out. You can even do it like this. Type it out. If everybody goes and clicks on side channel, I'm going to type it out real quick. So that's the first part. And the second part will be last but not least,
User joined your channel. User left your channel.
so the whole Alpha and Private Smith, that was
Yes,
just
yes, it is.
me putting an example in there with
Yes,
a
it is,
team leader
Yes, it is.
doing a radio check
Briefing
with
right now.
one of his team members. But since y'all are going to do radio checks together, there is no Alpha team leader just today, so it's just going to be you, this is me, doing radio checks. Everybody tracking on that?
Understood, Sergeant. Roger, Sergeant.
Understood, Sergeant.
Excellent. All right. Yeah, copy that. Y'all gonna listen in. Corporal McCoy and I are gonna do a radio check for you right quick on TeamNet, so you can hear how it goes. All right, start off, Corporal.
Roger that, Sergeant.
Sergeant Margietta, this is Corporal McCoy. Radio check on frequency 100.1, over.
Corporal McCoy, this is Sergeant Margietta. I have you Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1, over.
Sergeant Margietta, this is Corporal McCoy. Roger, out.
There you go. That's how it's done. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Alright, so I want you to go down and do radio checks with each other. Private Mikhail, do a radio check with Private Ramirez. Private Ramirez, I want you to jump over and do a radio check with Private Carter. Private Carter, I want you to do a radio check with Private Tate. Private Tate, do one with Private McGee. Private McPeer. And Private McPeers, do one with Private Lanier. And then Private Lanier, do one with Private Tells. Make it happen.
Private Ramirez, this is Private Mikhail. Radio check frequency number 100.1.
Nope. You didn't hear us say anything about a number, did you?
Private Ramirez, this is Private Mikhail. Radio check frequency 100.1, over.
Private Mikhail, this is Private Ramirez. I have you loud and clear on frequency 100.1. Over. Out.
Nope, just over.
Remember, Private Ramirez, this is Private Mikhail. Copy, out.
There you go. Yep, see, he's the one who initiated that transmission, so he outs that transmission. So, alright. I'll take that. Keep it going, Private Ramirez.
Copy that. Private Carter, this is Ramirez. Alpha, sorry.
Yep.
Private Carter, this is Ramirez on frequency 100.1, over.
Private Ramirez, this is Private Carter, Lima Charlie, radio frequency 100.1, over.
Private Control, this is Ramirez. Copy out.
Alright, so just remember, Private Ramirez, you're doing a radio check, so that's the important thing you need to remember when you first initiate that contact with Private Carter. You put out the frequency, but if nobody told him, he would be wondering why the hell are you reading back the frequency to me. So just make sure you put in there that this is a radio check.
Copy, Sergeant.
Alright, keep it going, Private Carter.
Private Tate, this is Private Carter, radio check on frequency 100.1, over.
Private Carter, this is Private T. I have you, Lima Charlie, on radio frequency 100.1, over.
Private Tate, this is Private Carter, copy, out.
Private McPierce, this is Private T. Radio check on frequency 100.1,
Yes,
over.
it is, Bandito. Yes, it is.
Private Tate, this is Private McPierce. I have you, Lima Charlie, on frequency 100.1, over.
Private McPierce, this is Private T. Roger, out.
Private Lentier, this is Private McPierce. Radio check on frequency 100.1, over.
Private McPierce, this is Private Lanier. I have you, Lima Charlie, on frequency 100.1, over.
Private Lanier, this is Private McPierce. Copy, out.
Private Tellis, this is Private Lanier. Radio check on frequency 100.1, over. Private Lanier, this is Private Teos. Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1, over. Private Teos, this is Private Lanier. Roger, out.
Alright, who am I doing?
You can do one with me.
Sergeant Maggiata, this is Private Teos on radio check on frequency 100.1, over.
Private Teos, I have you, Lima Charlie, on frequency 100.1, over.
Sergeant Maggiata, this is Private Teos. Copy, out.
Alright, fucking beautiful. That's fucking great. Y'all did pretty damn well. The people that did mess up, just keep that in mind, which you need to do to fix that for next time around. But I am very satisfied with the amount of people and how well the radio checks were. So, excellent.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Keep it up. And make sure you do those radio checks like that all time, every time. Don't pick up any fucking bad habits from the older guys here. Just keep doing them that way, and hopefully they will eventually revert back to doing radio checks the proper way. All right. Any questions on that section of the class, gentlemen?
Negative, sir.
Negative, Sergeant.
All right.
Negative,
Sergeant. Yep. Sergeant Smith, you here?
Yep.
Don't sound so down, man. You want to take over this part, or you want me to keep going?
Yeah, I got it. Alright.
All right.
Alright, so this next portion is... Actually, give me a second. Let me do this. Alright. And thanks for the subscribe, Benito one. Alright, so this is what we're going to do right here. We're going to go ahead and go over to our basic infantry weapons. So let me go over to weapon systems, and then we go over to firing rates, point fire, and area fire. Alright, guys? Yes? Alright. Alright, so we do use various organic weapon systems here within the 506. Well, from what we're using here. And I'll go over with a few of them. So the first one is the M4A1. So M4A1 is basically a common weapon system that you'll be carrying with you as a basic infantryman. So if you're a fire team leader, grenadier, or rifleman, you'll be mainly most likely carrying the M4A1. So M4A1 is a magazine-fed, gas-operated, air-cooled, shouldered-fired weapon and it's capable of semi-automatic fire and or automatic fire. Max effective range for the M4 is 500 meters on a point target and 600 meters on an area target. And I'll say it again. It is 500 meters on a point target and 600 meters on an area target. That's its max effective range. Any questions?
Negative, Sergeant.
All right. Now, the M249. This is the bigger and badder brother of the M4A1. The M249 is basically a SAW. That means a squad automatic weapon. And it's capable of basically launching more rounds than what M4A1 can. So with it being a machine gun, it's more deadlier and lethal within the whole fire team, within the whole squad. So the squad basically has is able to carry two M249s, and the ones who can carry the M249s is the AR within the team. So the M249 is only firing mode it has is automatic, and we'll go firing modes soon. So M249 is a individually portable gas operated magazine or disintegrating metallic link belt fed, or it could be shoulder fed with. Sorry. Where I start off from. So it's a light machine gun, and its max effective range on an area target is 1,000 meters. So once again, its max effective range on an area target is 1,000 meters. Now you're wondering why there's none for point target. So the M249, like I said, is a light machine gun. It is our squad automatic weapon. So if it being able to actually launch multiple rounds than what the actual M4A1 can, this means, as a result, it's more effective to actually suppress a target than what an actual rifle can that can only do single fire or both burst rounds, depending on which weapon system you pick. So with it being able to with it being able to actually launch multiple rounds at a time, it can suppress a target and it allows you to actually hold onto that trigger and actually launch multiple rounds. So we mainly use this weapon system for suppressing targets and hitting multiple targets at the same time. Alright, so everyone gets 10 point why it's only meant for area targets and not for point target?
Because it is made for suppressing targets or hitting multiple targets at the same time.
Yes, I just wanted you guys to say yes or no. Sorry, I probably wasn't clear on that. So everyone understands what I mean, why the M249 only has an area target and not a point target, correct?
Roger.
All right. Now you can use the M249 to shoot single targets, depending on drastic measures such as if there is an infantryman getting close to you, about maybe 100 meters or less, or whenever you're reaching into the room. You can use M249 for single targets, but it's mainly meant for shooting multiple targets and suppressing targets at one single time. Alright, we'll move on to your next organic weapon system, and that is the M320, or the 203, but I'm mainly going to be talking about the 320. Now, within the 320, it can be attached to the M4A1. The 320 is basically can be breached from its rear by basically opening it from the back and pulling it down. You could breach a 40 mag round or HDP round, whatever you decide to choose. From there, close it back up, and then you go ahead and fire the launcher, and it'll go out to wherever you decide to shoot it towards. Now, with the M320, it is newer. It is a newer version than the 203 with better sight optics than what the 203 can offer for you. It can range out further than 350 meters. It can range up to 400 meters. The 320 also has another variant, but I really don't want to tell you guys that because you can't use that until you become a squad leader. So the M320 can be attached to M4A1, and basically is a lightweight, compact, breech-loading, single-shot 40mm launcher attached to M4 rifles. The max effective range for the M320 or the 203 on a port target is 150 meters. So on the 203 is 150 meters, on the 320 is 200 meters, and for an area target it is 350 meters. And for the 320, it is 400 meters. So I'll say this again. For the 203, the point target is 450 meters, and then for an area target, it's 350 meters. For the 320, for point target, it's 200 meters, and for an area target, it is 400 meters. Any questions? All right. Now the AT4, which y'all will be carrying soon once we finish this portion. An 84 is a lightweight, self-contained anti-armor weapon consisting of a free-flight, fin-stabilized rocket-type cartridge, packed in an expendable one-piece fiberglass wrapped tube. With the AT4, it is only a single-shot weapon system, so you only fire it once, and you gotta dispose of it. So it's not reloadable. So the AT4, it can pack a very big punch than what its little brother can, which is the M72 Law. The tactical engagement range of the AT4 or the M136 AT4 is 250 meters. So say again, tactical engagement range of the M136 is 250 meters. Now, like I said about its little brother, which is the M72 Law. M72 Law is also non-reloadable. It's only one single shot. However, its tactical engagement range is only 200 meters. However, mostly everyone else in the unit, you can hear them. They mainly prefer the AT4 than the Law, because the AT4 packs bigger punch A, and then B, the AT4 is much more easier to use than the Law. Alright, move on to the M240 Bravo. M240 Bravo is a medium to heavy machine gun used by the men in our weapon squads. So people who use this is actually the machine gunners in the weapon squads, and usually they have their assistant carrying most of the ammo for them, as since it is bigger boxes and it's too much. It basically is much more heavyweight for the machine gun to carry himself. So you need someone else to carry extra ammo for him if need be. Now, along with that, the M240 Bravo chamber is 7.62 rounds, not 5.56, which is what the M249 carries. So with the M240 Bravo being bigger than the M249, its max effective range is 1,200 meters. That's on area targets. Any questions with the M240 Bravo? All right, now you have the FGM 148 Javelin. The Javelin is, unlike the AT4, is reloadable. So you can reload it once you shoot one round. You can reload it and put another rocket in there and shoot it out. Yes, it is basic knowledge. So basically, the Javelin, all you have to do is basically, this weapon system is basically a lock on, shoot, and then forget. You don't have to keep your sights on the target. As soon as after you launch that rocket, you can go ahead and wait for that rocket to hit the target. Now, however, at a time of trying to engage a target, what you got to do is that you got to pull the rocket off of your back. Now, like real life in Arma 3, the sights are already attached to the Javelin. So all you got to do is that pull the Javelin off from your back by pressing 0, whatever key you want to use. You point the sights towards the armor piece, and usually we use a Javelin for MBTs because it could engage any armor piece that's been thrown to us. But however, we don't want to waste a Javelin round, as we can only carry 2 per team. So we don't want to waste a Javelin round on a BTR or a BMP, which is lighter armor than an MBT. So mainly it's meant to be used for MBTs. So basically you keep the sights on the MBT, and then make sure you're on thermals. That's the only way for you to actually be able to lock onto your target. So you go on thermals, and then you press Tab or T. You wait till it makes a long beeping sound, and then you'll launch that rocket. Yeah, sorry, Swish. We'll go into action soon after this, about an hour or two. So once you launch the rocket will get out of the weapon system, and basically that's when the main firing system on that rocket will engage. That's why you'll see the rocket basically fan out about maybe 10 or 20 meters in front of you, and then that's when you start seeing it going straight up to the air. So go straight up to the air, and then it'll engage the armor piece from the top down. So it won't hit it from the side, it won't hit it from its front or its back. It'll actually hit it from the top plate and push force down to the bottom. That's the most effective way to actually engage an armored piece. But what's going to happen is that it's going to disable the turret, and then it's going to push the top end of the armored piece down towards the bottom, because the top and the bottom is a shorter height than it is from the sides. You get what I mean? You guys get what I mean by that? Yeah, so it's smaller from top to bottom than it is from the front to rear. You guys get what I mean, right? Yeah. So it's more deadlier if you hit it from its sides or from its top, as you could push in the armored section down into the cabin and prevent the infantrymen are in there to move around and try to engage you back. Iron Man load up. Alright, so sorry. So the M3 Maz. Now the Maz is basically a bigger brother of the 84, but a little brother of the Javelin. The Maz is reloadable as well. Its max effective engagement range is 900 meters. With the Javelin, it packs a good punch as well. Can engage our MBTs, BMPs, and BTRs. However, based off of the certain distance you're at. Sorry, the Javelin. I'm sorry, the Maz rocket can may not be that much effective towards MBTs if it's 1,000 meters out, unless you're very experienced with it and you can hit the top plate of that armored piece. I can't explain the difference between the missile and rocket right now. So basically, with the Maz rocket, like I said, you fire towards the target, and then you forget the same way you do with the Javelin. The rocket will go towards wherever you pointed at, and it'll hit the target the same way you do with your AT-4. Now, however, it's a little bit different. The Maz, it has a bigger, how do I say this? It's the same caliber, but it packs a bigger punch. You guys get what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so your AT-4 can only engage on BMPs and BTRs from a certain distance. The Maz can only engage BTRs, BMPs, and MBTs from a certain distance to where its damage drop-off will be drastic. Now, the rocket has the same caliber, but it packs bigger punch. Corporal McCoy?
Thank you, Sergeant. Yeah, just to kind of add to that, if you think of the AT-4 as it is a literal rocket launcher, but the Maz, the Carl Gustav, is a recoilless rifle, so it's more of a kind of like a shoulder-mounted tank cannon, if you want to think of it like that. That's all. Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you, Corporal McCoy. Excuse me. So basically, yes, that what Corporal McCoy is correct. So it's basically is way much more better on weapon system than AT-4. However, the Maz rocket and Javelin can only be carried by the weapon system. So think of that as your weapon systems as being your bigger brother and watching for you just in case if you can't hit anything that you cannot hit. You get what I mean?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright, so we'll go ahead and move on towards your firing modes. So this is more related to your M4A1, and then I'll show you how it can relate to your M249 and M240 Bravo. So, and it can also relate to your grenade launcher as well. But so firing mode is your semi-automatic and your automatic. Semi-automatic basically only allows you to actually do shoot 1 round every time you pull the trigger. The automatic firing mode allows you to pull the trigger and hold on to a trigger, and fire multiple rounds when you're holding on to it. So in semi-automatic, if you pull and hold the trigger, only 1 round will release. If you are automatic firing mode, you pull and hold the trigger, multiple rounds will release until your chamber is empty. Now with semi-automatic and automatic firing mode, you can switch between these modes by pressing your Foxtrot key, or what the first one I like to say, your fun key. So you can press the F key and go ahead and switch between semi-automatic and automatic. Now, within being a AR, you could use semi-automatic by doing burst fire. That's what I would relate this to. If you want to compare these two together, your semi-automatic mode would be your burst fire, and then your automatic firing mode as the AR or the machine gunner. It would be basically you just hold on to that trigger button and then release as much rounds as you can. But however, we don't do that with our weapon systems because it will soon enough overheat, and with it being overheated, it will get jammed. And do you guys want your weapon system to get jammed in the middle of a firefight?
Thank you, sir.
No, Sergeant.
Alright, so what you're going to do to not get your weapon systems to overheat or get jammed is that you got to make sure you stick to burst fire. Even if you're in automatic fire mode as a rifleman with the M4A1, still go to burst fire, which means that you do 3 to 5 round burst. And we'll go over that in about maybe 2 minutes after this next portion. So following behind the firing mode, you have point fire and area fire. Point fire, this means that this is fire directed at one point. For example, an entire team or squad fires at one bunker. So let me show you right now. Alright, so this is point fire. If I want all of you guys to shoot at a target, pretend this screen's a target. If I point right here and tell you Engages infantryman, that's point target right there. Or engages bucker. That's point fire. Now area fire, this type of fire covers an area laterally and in depth. So if a squad leader wants fire on a wood line, he can shoot tracers to mark the center of the target. Soldiers on his left will fire to the left of the target, or where the tracers were sent towards, and the soldiers on the right will fire to the right of it. So, once again, if I point towards the general area, or shoot it with my tracers, or point at it with my lasers, you guys on my left-hand side pretend that you're Alpha Team, and the guys on the right pretend you guys are Bravo Team. If I point over here and say, engage this tree line, or engage near my tracers, you guys on my left, you engage which side?
The left side, Sergeant.
Obviously. And guys on the right, which side would you engage?
Right side, Sergeant.
Obviously. So basically, that's where you do area target. You're not shooting at a specific thing. You're just shooting at an area around that thing that was pointed towards you. And it was point target. You're shooting at a specific thing. Everyone gets what I'm saying? Between the point fire and area fire.
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
And the same thing with point target and area target. They're almost similar. But the reason why point target is different from point fire is that you're firing at one specific position. Point target is one specific target, and the area target is multiple targets, or the larger area of where you're supposed to be engaging. So let me elaborate. So area fire is basically infantry shooting at a specific area. Area target is a specific area you're supposed to be shooting at. Get what I mean? Probably sounds a little confusing. Okay, probably only one person gets what I mean. Does everyone else get what I mean, or no? Yeah. So area fire is basically multiple people shooting at an area, and area target is where we're shooting towards. Is the area that we're shooting towards. Now, point fire is basically the infantry is shooting at or engaging one area or one target, and point target is one target that we're engaging. Hope it sounds like I said, it's almost the same thing but a little bit different. All right, so that's what we said about point target and area target when we're going over organic weapons. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over rates of fire. So these are your basic engagement techniques. Now the rates of fire, there's 3 as a basic rifleman carrying the M4A1, and then there's 1 rate of fire as a M249 gunner or M240 Bravo. Yes, Corporal Coy?
Thanks, Sergeant. I just wanted to add something to help with point and area target, Sergeant.
Go ahead.
A good way to really think of it as point target is shoot to kill. You're engaging a single target. Your job is to aim and kill that target. Area target is a suppression mechanism. So you're not literally aiming at that target. You're trying to suppress a group of targets to prevent them from moving closer or hold them in a position for another element to flank and engage them. Thank you, Sergeant.
You're welcome. And you mainly be doing area target, area fire, mostly the whole time when you're throughout the operation until you actually get closer to targets. Alright, we'll go ahead and move on towards rates of fire once again. Now, like I said, you have sustained, effective, rapid, cyclic. That's you if you're a rifleman carrying the M4A1. So I said again, sustain or effective, rapid, cyclic, or M249 burst fire. Who we're missing?
Sergeant Martiato.
Okay. Alright, so sustained effective firing is basically you're shooting 1 round every 1 to 2 seconds. So you're shooting 1 round, you give yourself a second or so to go ahead and line your sights back on the target you're engaging, and then you shoot another round. Then reline your sights again, shoot another round, then reline your sights. That's basically sustained or effective firing. Now rapid is you're doing double tap, so you're just increasing the rate of fire. So now you're doing 2 rounds every 1 to 2 seconds. So you're gonna shoot 2, double tap your target, re-engage, double tap, then re-engage, double tap. And what I mean by re-engaging, basically, like I said before, you're putting your sights back on the target again. And then lastly is cyclic. Now you're switching towards your automatic firing mode by pressing which key?
Fun key, Sergeant.
Yep, funky. Alright, you're using that then, so Foxtrot. Alright, yep, so you're pressing your fun key, and you can go ahead and switch towards your automatic firing mode, and then you can do burst round. And why we're not doing, why we're not holding that trigger, why are we only doing burst rounds? Just one person answer it. There you go, prevent it to overheat or jam. So, you're gonna go to switch cyclic by pressing your fun key. You're gonna go towards automatic firing mode, and you go hold on to that trigger for about maybe a second or two, and from there about 3 to 5 rounds should be released. So your primary goal when you're on your fun key is to basically shoot 3 to 5 round burst, and then you can wait 1 to 2 seconds, and you're gonna re-engage that target. So everyone understands what to do for staying effective, rapid, or cyclic.
Where's that song?
Understood, Sergeant.
All right. So now, if I would put this based off of the threat that's being posed, the sustained or effective firing. This would be if the target's maybe. So everyone knows what is your max effective range on your M4A1.
500 meters.
It's awesome. All right. So the target would be at least 500 to 300 meters to you. That's where you're going to do sustained or effective firing. Now, for rapid firing, I'll get to your comment soon, Corporal Coy. Then your rapid firing, the target's maybe 300 meters to 200 meters, so they're getting a little closer to you. That's why you're going to do double taps. You want to increase rate of fire and hit them a little bit more harder. Now, the target is getting dangerously close to you, 150 meters or less, then you're going to do cyclic. So, actually, I should say 100 meters or less, because then you don't want your rounds going all around the place with the recoil. 100 meters or less, you go to cyclic, rapid fire, 200 meters to 300. 200 meters to 150 to 300 meters, you do rapid double taps, and then if they're 300 meters or greater away, you're going to do sustain or effective firing. All right, Corporal McCoy.
Thanks, Sergeant. Just to add to the importance of firing rates, not only is it to prevent weapon malfunction, but what we do as light infantry, we operate usually on the front lines with limited chance of resupply. We have a finite amount of ammo. So another very important reason we do this is to conserve ammunition to make sure we can last throughout an entire operation, because we most likely will not get a resupply. Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you, Corporal. This is actually also one thing I want to put in your mind. So there's how many of you right now?
7.
Yep. Yep, there you go. Quick math. 7. So all of you are. So imagine all of you guys are in the line. You're basically on a skirmish line. You're getting ready to engage a target that's right in front of you. Now, if all of you are in single or effective firing mode, so you're shooting one round every 1 to 2 seconds, as a target, let's say 300 meters in front of you. With all of you shooting one round, guess how many rounds is being shot at that one target?
7, Sergeant.
7 rounds. So instead of you trying to click, shooting 7 rounds to try to get that target, all of you are able to basically kill the guy and then go overboard killing the guy. You get what I mean? 3 rounds will kill him, and then 4 of your rounds will basically make sure he's dead. So that's why we have these firing modes, basically for you to save ammo, and plus we already have the whole element engaging that target with multiple rounds anyways. So that's something for you to keep in mind to yourself. Alright, so next thing for basic engagement techniques is engaging, sorry, actually I skipped one. Your M249 burst fire. Your burst fire for M249, so every time when you're firing your M249 or M240 Bravo, you're never firing it with one single round. You're always shooting it with burst fire, and that burst fire, like I said before, is about 3 to 5 round burst. Now with M249, you're going to shoot maybe around 5 to 8 round burst. Everyone copy? Or everyone's tracking?
Track.
Alright.
Sergeant.
So we'll go ahead and move on to the next engagement technique. Engaging the greatest threat. And you guys get what I mean by making sure you engage the greatest threat first.
Roger that, Sergeant.
Go ahead and explain. Go ahead and explain to your best ability if you're able to.
Roger that, Sergeant. The greatest threat will be the person pointing at you or your squad mates.
Yep. So basically, almost like that. So yeah, I'll expand on that. So basically, say if a BTR is coming towards us, and you have a squad maybe 200 meters in front of you, but you have BTRs 300 meters close to you, which is basically within your tactical engagement range for your AT4. What would you engage first, the BTR or the squad of infantrymen? I'm sorry, team of infantrymen.
The BTR.
Yes, that's the greatest threat. So yes, 12.7 rounds. Then what the infantry they're engaging was probably maybe 7.62 or 5.56 rounds. Now, say we're approaching a compound. There's maybe 2 guys facing towards you, and there's probably 5 guys facing away from you. That's 100 meters away from you, or 50 meters away from you. Who would you engage first? And this is basically to pick it back on Private Teller's what his answer was. Who would you engage first?
The guy's facing you.
If the guy's facing you.
Forward facing.
Yep, because as soon as you start engaging those targets, they're the only ones who are able to react the fastest. Because they're already going to see you. So that's what we mean by engaging the greatest threat first. So what do you do whenever you're engaging something? You do what?
Engage with the greatest threat first.
There you go. And if we're able to synchronize our shots or our fire, we usually would be able to assign which team engages which section or whatever, based off security and everything else like that. And remember, firing in a close proximity should be done with little crossfire awareness on teammates' enemy position. So that's one bad thing to do. You do never always make sure that you know how close your teammates are. Whenever you're firing, you never want to fire behind them. You want to fire online with them. That's what we always tell you to get online. And then also, you got to make sure that your teammates aren't that close to you when you're firing, because like I said, your ears will start bleeding if you start firing right behind their ear or right on their ear. And then also, whenever you're trying to maneuver, you got to make sure you be attentive where your friendlies are at. You don't want to shoot or create crossfire where you shoot towards each other. But you want to create a different kinds of crossfire where you're to your left of your friendlies. You get what I mean? You don't want to be directly in front of them, is what I'm saying. You want to be almost side beside them, but at least able to create a crossfire on the enemies where you're engaging from both flanks. Alright, we move on. One last thing about basic engagement techniques. One pro where you want to say is reloading. Whenever you're out of ammo, you got to reload your round, you say reloading. This lets every teammate or every person around you know that we got one gun down, so we need to increase our firing rate. That also includes if you're the M249 gunner, in other words, if you're the AR, or if you're the machine gunner. If you have a reload, you must say reloading as well. Reason for that is because guess what? Our weapon system is able to shoot 5 rounds more than what we're able to engage at 1 second. They're down. They're reloading. So usually we'll say gun down or reloading. Now we know that 5 rounds are decreased now, so now we got to increase our rate of fire. So you can automatically jump up to rapid or cyclic. So always make sure you stay reloading so everyone else knows they need to pick up the rate of fire so that the enemies don't know, okay, this is their time to move. Everyone tracking?
Tracking.
Alright, let's go ahead and move back up towards our organic munition. Alright, so our organic munitions that we have within the unit is basically our smoke grenades, fragmentation grenades, within the army, smoke grenades, fragmentation grenades, your stun grenades, and demolition blocks. Those are the 4 types of organic munitions that we currently allow you to carry here in the 506. Now first is your M67 fragmentation grenade. Its wounding range is basically 20 meters, and its lethal range is basically 5 meters. That's your M67 fragmentation grenade. Now, to throw your M67 fragmentation grenade, you press your Gulf key. But to make sure that you actually have your M67 fragmentation grenade selected, you gotta make sure you press your 6 key. That allows you to cycle through your lethal grenades. Now, I'm pretty sure some of you right now, you don't have to admit it, is probably cycling through your lethal grenades, so go ahead and make sure you press 7 so you could go back to your non-lethal grenades. And yes, that's how you cycle through your non-lethal grenades, is by pressing 7. So now, if you're wondering, your stun grenades are also on your lethal grenade section. Don't ask me, I don't know why. Because your stun grenades can actually give you a 30-degree burn, so that's why it's in the lethal section. But cycle through your lethal grenades is pressing 6, non-lethal grenades pressing 7. And go ahead and move on. So press 7 key to basically bring out your smoke, 6 key to bring out your fragmentation grenades and your stun grenades. But now I'm going to go over your pro words for your fragmentation grenades if you ever decide to throw your grenade. So if an enemy is getting very close to you, and you're not in no effective position or way to actually engage that contact, you could throw that grenade either over a wall, straight towards the contact wherever you see him, whichever way you decide to throw that grenade at. You got to make sure you press the G, you select that grenade and you press G, and then you throw it. Now, however, you got to make sure you use these pro words whenever a grenade's been thrown, accidentally or intentionally. So the first pro word is frag out. Frag out simply means is that you're throwing the frag. However, make sure you say frag out before you throw the frag. So you could prep that frag, you could press 6 to make sure you select it towards the fragmentation grenade. But before you cook it, frag out, then throw the grenade. Now, say if you're the person that's not throwing a grenade, your job is to echo out that order. So if you hear someone or a friendly say frag out, you're going to yell out and say frag out. So let's go ahead and simulate this real quick. Frag out. There you go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Alright. Now, the next pro word is frag. Frag simply means that an enemy has thrown a frag towards you or just thrown a frag. You just heard a frag being tossed by the enemy, so you can yell out frag. Your job as a person, if you heard the word frag or just heard a frag being thrown, is to echo out that order. So you're going to yell out frag 2 as well. Frag.
Frag.
There you go. Alright. Now the last pro word is frag out. Frag out, I'm sorry. Bad frag. The last pro word is bad frag. Bad frag means that you've accidentally thrown a fragmentation grenade by mistake. We don't care what you meant to throw. Just say bad frag. And don't say bad frag, oh my god, I meant to throw smokes, bad frag, bad frag. Just say bad frag. Okay? And make sure you say bad frag multiple times, just in case someone didn't hear you the first time, you can hear them again. They can hear you again. So make sure you say bad frag multiple times. Now, all of you brave and honest.
I would like to think so, Sergeant.
That's only one person, I'm assuming. So I guess that's the only person. There you go. So I guess these two are the only people who admit it. Now, if you throw a bad frag, please make sure that you say it. You get less trouble if you say bad frag than actually not saying bad frag. Because guess what? If you throw that frag, oops, or just not say anything, or if I read my okay, sorry, I mean to say that. But if you throw a bad frag and you just say oops yourself or yell out loud, people may not know what happened. Well, what happens is that you throw that bad frag and then friendlies near you who do not know will get hit by that frag. And if they're 5 meters from that frag, that's lethal range once again. They will get killed by that frag, and that'll be because of you. You get court-martialed, and everything else happens. You be in jail. So make sure you say bad frag. Now, also, if you haven't admitted it, guess what? You get counseled, and a lot of other punishments will happen to you. Then if you say bad frag, you get bad frag, it mainly would be a non-official counsel, which means it won't go on your record. And you can still apply for positions with that non-official or unofficial counsel. Corporal Coy?
Thanks, Sergeant. Yeah, just to add to that kind of mindset we have here, we're all fucking adults here. If you make a mistake, just own that shit. Admit you were wrong. You're going to get in far less trouble. You might get yelled at. You'll get chewed out. But if you sit there like a pussy and pretend you didn't do it and just hide it, your team leader is going to take the blame, and that makes you a piece of shit, basically. In everyone's book, no one wants to be that. So if you make a mistake, own up to it, be a man, and that's our motto around here. So just own your mistakes, and you'll be good. Thanks, Sergeant.
Thank you, Corporal. So what are the 3 pro words? Start from the top to the bottom.
Frag out.
Frag out.
Frag out. Frag out. Frag.
Alright, good. And if you actually, and also, I forgot to say this as well. If you've thrown something and you don't even know if it's a bad frag, you just say bad frag. Because guess what? You don't get in trouble if it wasn't a bad frag and it was actually smoke. At least get everybody running away from that smoke so they won't inhale it and get high from it, I guess, whatever. So if you throw in something you don't know what it was, make sure you call it bad frag. So then if it was a frag, that way you at least called it out. Everyone tracking?
Correct, Sergeant.
Alright. Alright, here. Let's go ahead and leave the fragmentation grenade section now. We go ahead and move towards smokes. So right now I'm about to give you every single smoke that we have, and I'm going to tell you what this signal color is. And the signal color, basically this signal color gives out what distinction or what it is meant for to be used for. This way we don't have to actually radio this stuff up. People just hear it. People just know what's going to happen, okay?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright. That pen paper better be ready. Alright. So first smoke I'm going to go over is your M18 yellow or white smoke grenade. This smoke grenade is mainly meant for concealment. So once again, yellow or white smoke is meant for concealment. Is there no difference between concealment and cover? Pop quiz real quick.
Roger.
Go ahead explain that to me.
Alright, concealment is basically anything that covers you as far as bushes, tall grass, something that bullets can still go through. Cover, on the other hand, is something like a tree, concrete barriers, a house that, regular rounds can't go through.
Thank you, Private Carter. So even though this smoke can conceal you, guess what? These guys can just still spray right through it and kill you or wound you. So yellow smoke is good for you to use concealment, for you to run back behind cover, maneuver, or displace, or whatsoever you feel deemed to use it for. But don't just think you're safe behind it. But yes, yellow smoke and white smoke is meant for concealment. You can use this if you're trying to displace, if you got a man down, you need to drag him back into cover whatsoever. But don't stay behind that yellow smoke forever, because they will know that you're behind that smoke and you gave out your position. Alright, we'll move on to the next signal color, and that is your green smoke. Green smoke is meant for friendly location. This can be used to let other friendly squads know, hey, we got friendlies over here, A, or B can be used whenever we're having a cast run or a gun run coming in by. This way, the pilots can know that, okay, friendlies are over here. These are what these infantrymen that are over here are. Those are friendlies, because that's there by the green smoke. So let me not shoot near that. So everyone gets what we use those green smokes for.
Yes, Sergeant.
Sometimes green smoke can be used. Thank you for all of you guys saying Roger. You guys did it within maybe 7 times I said you guys copy, so at least you guys now finally doing it again. So green smoke, it can also be used as rally points, such as if we're calling index or mission complete. I'm usually throw that green smoke for everyone else to rally on. So here's one important thing, and now it can be used as LZ points as well. Now here's one important thing about why you need to be careful with these green smokes. If you accidentally pop green smoke and you don't bring it out and saying this is meant for concealment or bad green smoke, what's going to happen is that you're going to have friendlies thinking this is a safe location, come into that location, and then get themselves shot from any other flank that they came in from. So if they coming in from your left-hand flank, you got contacts from your front, they're going to get shot from the left, or maybe from the rear. So please be careful when you toss those green smokes. And also, if you have a gun run, you toss green smoke by mistake, and friendlies by that green smoke, enemies are by that green smoke, you're going to get yourself mowed down by a CAS, by the A-10, or by Apache. And you have the enemies coming over and try to capture you and take you as prisoners. So please be careful with green smoke. Alright, next signal color is blue. It's blue smoke. Blue smoke basically signifies a broken chain of command. What this means is that someone in leadership, your direct leadership or your chain of command, is down. You normally would do this if let's say, if your team leader goes down or your squad leader goes down, you'll toss a blue smoke. However, in most platoons that you get billeted in, make sure I'm yelling. Most platoons that you get billeted in, usually team members, team leaders, and squad leaders normally won't carry a blue smoke. The one who will be carrying a blue smoke is usually your RTO. Because the RTO, they usually use blue smokes as if the platoon leadership is down in a certain location. They don't toss that blue smoke. But here within OSUT, if your team leader is down, there's no way of you actually being able to contact your higher chain of command. You'll toss that blue smoke, okay? Am I understood?
Roger that, sir.
Alright. And so yeah, that's basically what a blue smoke is meant for to use. If you have no way to contact or communicate to your direct chain of command, you'll toss that blue smoke. So that means your team leader goes down and you can't get your radio set or radio, you just toss that blue smoke. And also that's one thing as well along with that green smoke. When friendlies see a blue smoke being tossed and you didn't bring it up, if it was meant for concealment or it was a bad blue smoke, you're also gonna have a whole task force running to that location because they might think someone important in higher leadership is down. They're gonna run over there, try to secure that position, and then try to make sure you're safe. And then if your position is not safe, and then you got fire coming at you, you're gonna get themselves getting shot from their flanks. So please make sure you call it up if it was meant for concealment or for anything else. But however, when they see blue smoke, they'll mainly know that something's wrong, and they will actually go in there with awareness. So they won't actually come in thinking that position is safe though. But be careful of blue smoke. Like I said, a whole task force will be coming towards that location. All right. Let's move on to red smoke. Red smoke basically means enemy location. So you already know where red smoke means enemy location. So would you want to pop that smoke by mistake on your position?
You want to yell bad?
No. I was asking a question. Would you want to pop red smoke on your position?
Negative.
Oh,
No, negative.
Okay. So where would you want to pop that red smoke towards?
Enemy location.
Yep, awesome. Or wherever that fire is. If you don't know where their location's at, you just pop the smoke towards them or where the fire is coming from. Now, here's one thing about the red smoke. Smokes can be thrown within, I would say, at least 30 to 50 meters. Within that range, that's as far as it could go, about 30, 40, 50 meters. And everyone already knows what their max effective range of the M4A1 is, right? Correct? Go ahead and say it.
Roger.
500 meters.
500 meters.
500.
So you can already engage a target that's 50 meters within, right next to you. And plus, with them being 50 meters next to you, those bullets hurts more than if they were about 300 meters away from you. So you might as well just try to engage those targets as much as possible. Usually we use these red smokes if we have a armored piece that's very dangerous close to us. We could toss a red smoke near it, so then at least the pilots can know what we're talking about. But like I said, red smoke's meant for enemy position. If you actually throw the red smoke, you're gonna go up to your radio and you're gonna say, "Actual, this is Alpha. Bad red smoke, or red smoke's meant for concealment." Okay? Make sure you call it up. If you don't call it up, sometimes the pilots may come in and just do that quick gun run without asking. But 99% of the time, they will actually ask and say, "Hey, is that red smoke a marking enemy position?" They'll most likely will confirm that red smoke. They won't actually do the gun run. But in OSUT, we won't ask. But we will ask. But if you ever decide to transfer to Class Alpha, they won't ask. Private Reed.
Thank you, Sergeant Smith. For the most part, I would honestly recommend not carrying red smoke, since if you are close enough to use red smoke, you are probably too close to be safe from whatever hits that red smoke. It's mainly used in the 40mm grenade launcher form. Thank you.
Thank you, Private Reed. And that basically segues to what I was about to say next. You can use these red smokes, like you said, for your grenade launchers. So if you get targets further away and you try to pinpoint your location, helping out your friendlies on the ground or your friendlies in the air, you pop that red smoke maybe 200 meters, and be careful because using your 40 mics, your grenade launcher smoke rounds, they will bounce. But you can mark a specific location where these contacts are coming from, or these enemy armored pieces, and then they can get effective gun run on them. So that's what we mainly use those red smokes for. Try to mark an armored piece. If you're at close range, if you cannot engage the armored piece, you're out of your rockets, or for the other reason, for air assets. All right, we'll move on towards purple smoke. Purple smoke is meant for not medevacs. Sorry, mass cast. If there's a mass cast in your location, purple smoke would be popped out. Now, the only people who carry purple smoke and the only ones who are authorized to use purple smoke are medics. And to addition to that, medics are the only ones who can actually classify if an area is if the situation right now is happening right now is a mass cast or not. So of course, they're the only ones who can carry that purple smoke. So purple smoke is mainly meant for mass cast, and usually when they see that purple smoke, medics will come in from all over the place to try to get those down guys back up. Now, if there is, for any situation, if there is a mass cast in your position, what you're going to do is that you're going to establish a 360 security in that area, so then that the down friendlies can actually get picked back up in a safe location, or at least not taking that much fire, if you get what I mean. I'll address your question soon, Private Carter. And please make sure you bring up purple smoke if you're throwing it by mistake. So what can happen is that you're going to have medics coming in and they're going to get themselves shot from multiple locations by mistake. Hey, Ganny. Private Carter?
Sorry. Would that also designate a CCP?
Yes. Casualty collection point. Yes, they usually would throw a purple smoke on a casualty collection point sometimes as well. If say if we gain a lot of fire in a certain area and they got multiple guys down, usually the medics will say, and basically like I said, and also to point out, medics have control of the situation. So medics will say, all right, if you guys could go ahead and get security out over here, I'm trying to get these guys behind cover. They'll usually will throw yellow smoke to get for concealment, drag the guys behind cover to a safe location. And then they could throw a purple smoke on a mass cast location where their casualty collection point is at. Private Reed?
Thanks, Sergeant. For people in Thomas, or whoever was it that just talked, was it Tate?
Reed.
Right?
Private Reed. I'm sorry, Private Carter.
It was me.
You have.
Yes, Arma is good. And it's fun
Arma
playing as
push
well.
the talk button, because we can hear you over side channel right now. You don't need it for our outfit. So you're going to want to go find that and unbind it. That's all.
Thank you, Private. Alright, lastly, so everyone gets what purple smoke is, correct? And it's used for?
Roger, sir.
And we shouldn't expect you guys actually through the purple smoke after you go through OSUT because, like I said, only medics carry purple smoke. All right, we'll move on towards orange smoke. Orange smoke is basically meant for marking a danger zone slash area. And it's based off these two situations: either a demolition or explosives that have been set in this area. So that's what orange smoke can be meant for one reason. Or secondly, the orange smoke can be meant for if there is an LZ. So, orange smoke would be meant for the mark an LZ location, or B to mark explosive position, an area where friendly explosives have been placed at, or enemy explosives have been placed at, or mines like that. This way, basically just to get people to know where stuff are at, danger areas are at. Now, all the people who would be carrying these orange smokes would be team leaders, A, or B, TAC P. They're the only ones who would be carrying orange smoke. Now, the reason why team leaders only carry orange smoke because they're the only ones who actually are authorized to carry explosives. Sometimes squad leaders might carry explosives, but team leaders would be mainly the only ones who would be carrying explosives in their loadout. Now, the reason why TAC P are the only ones who carry orange smokes because they're the only ones who can actually communicate towards our air assets. So they're the only ones who can actually dictate where that LZ is at. Alright, so everyone gets the orange smoke?
Roger that, sir.
Alright.
Roger that, Sergeant.
And thus concludes the smoke portion. Now, lastly, next is our stun grenades. Stun grenades can be same like I said. What key do you press to cycle through your stun grenades?
6, Sergeant.
And which is your what?
Lethal
grenades. Yep, those are your lethal grenades. So you're going to press 6, cycle through your lethal grenades. You're going to press G to throw that stun grenade. So basically, here's the thing about these stun grenades, which is something that we really find get a little iffy about. Stun grenades only do that much of effect towards any enemy infantry is if they actually directly look at it or is at least within the funnel of their eyesight. So a stun grenade can only, let's say if I'm an enemy infantry, and I'm keeping immersion, if I'm only, I already broke it anyways, just saying that. If I'm an enemy infantry, stun grenade has to be thrown like right there directly in front of me. Like from here to here, in order for me to get affected by it. Now, if you are friendly, a stun grenade could be thrown right behind you, you could get flashed right by it. Which is why it's very bad to actually throw a stun grenade, because you actually flash friendlies who are at least maybe 50 meters from that stun grenade. Sorry, not 50, 20 meters within that stun grenade, they could get affected by it. So, in other words, to put in layman's terms, we get affected by stun grenades a lot more than what enemy infantry can. Or in other words, break immersion, what the AI can. So, whenever you're throwing a stun grenade during a CQB breach, go in that room assuming that you didn't throw a flash, okay? Because sometimes they can still see. Now the only time you know that your enemies have been flashed is if they're blocking their eyes or shielding their eyes, in other words, and their guns are facing towards the ground, or rifles face towards the ground. That's the only time you know that they're flashed. Any questions with the stun grenade?
Thank you, sir.
Alright, move on towards our demolition blocks. Demolition blocks can be placed by using your self-interaction key. So what do you use to place your demolition blocks?
Self-interaction key.
And by default would be your control windows. You hover over explosives, and then you hover over demolition block, and then you release your control windows key, and then it should pop up your demolition block, and then you press your left key to basically place it. It allows you to rotate it. It allows you to place it on certain objects like tanks, or BMPs or BTRs. Anything you want to place it on, it allows you to place it on there. Certain things. So that's how you place it. Now how to set it to your clicker or put a timer on it, which I advise none of you to never put a timer on a demolition block unless authorized to do so. If you don't have a clicker. Usually if you don't have a clicker, let another team leader use their firing device. Now to set your firing device or timer, you go ahead and use your interaction key. So what key do you use?
Interaction key.
And that would be your Windows key by default. You can hover over the demolition block, use your Windows key or interaction key, wherever it may be, and then you're gonna go hover over set detonator, and then you can hover over M57 firing device or M72, whichever firing device you have, I think there's no, sorry, it's M27, I think, 1 and 2. But the main one we give you is M75 571 and 2 firing device. That's one of them we give to you. Or you can select any other firing device that you decide to pick. Or you select timer, but you select the firing device first. So if you don't have a firing device, you select timer. That's only authorized to use timer if you've been authorized to use it. So you hover over firing device, and then you release, and then it's already set to your firing device. Now to set your det off, by authorization, once given authority to set the detonation off, because you gotta wait for your superiors or your chain of command to actually break it up through their CLC so that everyone else can know what's being blown up right now. Then once it's been blown up and once it's been given you authorization to, you're gonna use the self interaction key again. You're gonna go over explosives. Then you're gonna go to set detonation, or you're gonna or make say or code or something like that. And then you're going to do either code 1 to code 2, or you just click detonate all. So everyone knows how to set their demolition blocks or explosives, how to set it to their firing device, and how to set it off, correct?
Roger that, Sergeant.
Roger, Sergeant.
Roger, Sergeant.
Any questions what I went over for the past 5 sections or 4 sections, whatever my sections was? Any questions?
Negative, Sergeant.
Negative, Sergeant.
No, at this time, sorry.
I'll go over basic optics, and then if you guys need to use a potty or drink some water, you guys can. Alright, I don't like rest or CSGO. Doing fine. Alright, so your basic optics that you're given, the main one that you're given during, I think you guys were allowed to pick any RCO, right? During your crew training?
We were given a specific one to pick, but I mean,
A specific selection or only one?
During OSUT, we got the choice.
You meant recruit training?
Roger that.
So you were given a choice to a specific selection or to anyone, right? Or which one was it?
It was a specific selection.
All right, awesome.
As soon as we get into OSUT, that's when we choose our optic.
All right, awesome. Now, so the RCOs you're given usually would be your ACOG or the M157 RCO. If you're asked, if you would ask Sergeant Smith, because his opinion is very important. If you were to ask me which one is I like or prefer, it would be the M150 RCO, because it allows you to actually range out targets without taking out your vectors. It doesn't give you the actual accurate range, but the way the optic is set up to be is that it allows you to actually judge the distance of a target, the approximate distance of a target. Now, the way to do it is by so there are horizontal and vertical lines, and within those horizontal and vertical lines, there's a chevron on it. Correct? You guys know which vertical line I'm talking about?
Roger.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the one with the chevron on it. And for those of you who don't get what I mean, we'll show you guys that later on day 2, since we don't have enough time to show you today. So within those lines that follows that chevron, that's below the chevron, I should say. Now there's horizontal lines that basically intersect those lines to show you the distances, and it usually is marked by 4, 6, and 8, basically by even numbers. Correct? You guys get what I'm talking about, or at least get a almost kind of image. Okay. So those horizontal lines that basically has those distances on it. Those horizontal lines, basically their width gets smaller and smaller the lower you get. So based off for the distance of a person, you know how a person looks smaller and smaller based off how far they are? They look almost like an ant, correct?
Correct, Roger.
Alright. So those horizontal lines basically fit the width of a soldier, a basic infantry, basic male soldier, the width of their shoulders. So if you rest that horizontal line on their shoulders, and if it fits, it should basically give you an approximate distance of how far they are. Now, if their shoulders are bigger than that horizontal line, then that means that you need to move your sight a little bit up, which means, in other words, they're closer to you. Now, if the width of their shoulders that are resting on a line is smaller than that line, then you need to move your optic up, which means they're a little bit further away from you. So what do you do if the shoulders are big?
You move your rifle down.
Yep. And then if the shoulders are small,
you move your rifle up.
All right. And so basically, all in all, would you want to engage targets with your? If you got targets engaging you and you forgot the distance of them, and they're engaging you at the same time, would you want to play out your vectors while you're being engaged?
Negative.
So the easier option for this to engage a target at the same time would be what? The optic I told you about, right? Which is the M150 RCO. Alright.
Yes, I do.
So your range combat optics allows you to actually engage, no, I'm sorry, gives you better sight to targets that are at least 400 meters or greater. So that's what your RCOs are. RCOs can come in many other various ranges, such as your ACOG, like I told you before, and other variants of the RCO. Now, next is your CCOs, your close combat optics. Close combat optics can give you a sight for targets that are 300 meters or lower. So, like your aim dot, or aim point, your red dot, your EOTech, those are basically some variations of your CCO. Now, EOTech can allow you or help you out on ranging out targets as well. That's the only CCO that can allow you to get ranges on targets. And you can search that up on how to do that. Also, I forgot to include, there is a variant of an RCO that allows you to have an RCO and a CCO at the same time. CCO will be at the top, and to change between the two, you press Control right click or you press your slash key. I'm sorry, Control and your slash key at the same time. Alright, move on to MGO. MGO is basically your machine gun optic. That was a default optic that was given to you or was instructed for you to grab for your AR loadout. And within this MGO, the lines don't intersect like how your ACOG does. You guys get what I mean, right? By the lines intersecting from a horizontal vertical lines intersecting based off of each distance, correct?
Correct.
So each 100 meter, there's a horizontal line that intersects that vertical line. So within your MGO, those lines that intersect, they don't actually intersect. They actually go across. You could imagine the lines intersecting, but in that intersection is actually an empty hole. So it's actually a hole in that intersection. You get what I mean? It's hard for you to imagine. You have to actually see it. But the lines will actually intersect. There's actually a hole between that. Basically allows you to get eyes on what you're shooting at between that range. And also, your AR is not meant for point targets. It's meant for what?
Area targets.
So to allow you to suppress targets more efficiently, with it actually being an open hole, you actually could actually see where you're spraying towards. And also, your machine gun is not mainly always accurate. So you can't really get an accurate shot with those two intersections. So that's why, since your machine gun is not really accurate when you shoot, it goes all over the place. There's no reason for you to actually have those lines intersecting. It should be opened up like that. But you guys should, whenever you're picking an AR, just look down the MGO site and you'll see what I meant. And you'll realize that Sergeant Smith isn't crazy. Alright, so that was your RCO, CCO, EOTech, and your MGO. Alright, lastly, whenever you're throwing your smoke grenades, here are some quick things for you to memorize. If you press Shift K, that should allow you to basically figure out where the wind is going. So go ahead and press Shift K right now. You should see a circle. Everyone sees that? On the top left hand of the screen? Yes, no,
Shift
maybe.
key, Sergeant?
Yes, Shift Kilo. You should press at the same time.
Negative. Sorry.
Negative, sorry.
Yeah, it's not coming up here.
Alright, try to stand up. Go ahead and stand up. Because we're about to leave anyways. And move on to the last portion.
There we go.
Yep, so go ahead and press Shift Kilo. Alright, so when you press Shift Kilo, like I said, gives you the where the wind is going. The arrow basically faces towards where the wind is going, and those dots basically tells you the wind speed. Everyone gets that portion?
Roger that, sir.
Alright, let's go ahead and follow me outside. And also I want to point out your basic, we've already told you this is basically so you can do effective screening. If you're screening a bunker, go ahead and put your soft covers and your eye pro on. If you were trying to effectively screen a position, like a bunker or an area, and the wind is going towards your right, would you want to put that smoke on the right hand side of the bunker or on the left hand side of the bunker?
Left hand side, sorry.
Left hand side.
Yep, because this wind will pick up that smoke and conceal the bunker and whatever's near that bunker. Alright, so Corporal McCoy is going to go ahead and take you towards the supply sergeant. He's going to have you get kitted out so you'll be able to use your AT.
Gentlemen, in an orderly fashion, make sure everyone picks up a rifleman loadout with an AT-4. All the way in, don't block the door.
Also, make sure that you have your ANPRC 152 radios.
No, Genny is someone who I know from Rainbow Six Siege. I haven't seen this guy in a long time.
Yep, the boxes to the immediate right of the arsenal will have. Once you load your loadout, grab a radio from the first box and a set of Vector 2-1 Knights from the second one. Don't grab them until you have your loadout, because they should not be saved in your loadout.
Yep, let's take about a minute, try to get that stuff done. When you're done, go ahead and make your way out here. And then once you're outside, we'll give you about maybe 30 seconds to go get yourself some water, whatever you need to do, and then we'll go ahead and finish up our last section before we run out of time.
Question, Sergeant, it's not letting me load my rifleman loadout.
Double click it.
They're all grayed out.
Try to double click it. Let me know if that works.
Negative, Sergeant.
Select it and click the load button.
Yeah, don't try to click the load button. Try to double click the actual name of it. Does that work?
Negative, Sergeant.
Okay, that means that something in your loadout is probably altered, or you probably have something in your loadout that you're not supposed to have. That is actually in the full arsenal. Well, what I want you to do for you, who's not able to load out your loadout? Or load your loadout? No, don't worry about that. Make way, Private Reed, and yeah, Minazaki, make way for me. All right, guys, come through this door where I'm at right now.
Yeah, if you have your loadout already, go outside.
Nope, over here. If you're not able to grab your loadout, come through this door that I'm right by right now, and get your loadout from there. Do not grab anything else but your loadout. And then I'll meet Corporal McCoy outside once you get your loadout set and done. And while we wait, go ahead and get yourself something to drink if you need to. Pee if you need to. We'll be back in a minute. Or 30 seconds or so.
The same radio signals?
Alright.
Yep, and make sure you grab your helmet, your hard cover, not your soft cover, because we'll be shooting stuff.
Sergeant, where do I get the radio?
You're gonna get it from this box right here. One of these boxes have a radio, one of these boxes have a vector, and I should let Corporal McCoy do that. Alright, come over here. If you already got your loadout, come over here and follow me. Alright, I want you guys to go ahead and form 2 files.
Make sure your magazine's out of
2 files of 4 men. I guess you 2 will basically be in the front of the file. And go ahead, kneel, and wait for the rest of your brother to get here, and then we'll start. And then we'll go towards the range. Yes, it is the first day of training. No. Line behind your brother. Your brother is in front of you right now. There you go. Give me a file, 4 men each. And close in. Yep, get close to each other, guys.
Helmet, Big Pierce. You don't need a fucking helmet cam.
Close in these gaps, guys. Closing in.
Private Carter, take that magazine out of your weapons. Condition 4 area. You just drop it the best. There you go.
And I'll say it again. Close in that gap. You guys are brothers. You shouldn't be worried about someone touching your butt. Come on, nut to butt.
Shoulder, not the butt.
Any of them ones that don't have
all the way forward.
Yep. And all my little unicorns.
As tight and close as you can.
Put those NVGs in your backpack. It's a fucking target in the daytime.
As you guys realize during your time going through elementary school, middle school, and high school, you realize those buses are very compact to fit multiple people in there. We feel the same way here. Once you guys get very close to each other, you get bond relationship with each other. Who are missing?
That one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
As condition for that weapon.
All right, so basically this is what this will basically be your and Private Carter, please don't flag Private Ramirez. Point your rifle down. This is basically your pre-combat formation. This is what you'll be going in every day whenever we're about to take you towards the outside portion of instruction, okay? So after you get your loadout, you're going to basically form a formation like this. Team leader will be in the front and everything else like that. We'll go over this deeply during day 2. All right, go ahead and go on your feet. And go ahead and follow me. And I don't see it. Give me a second. Stand by. Actually, I don't want to respawn. Can you teleport us over there?
Well, yes.
Private Tate, when you get the chance, make sure you remove that
Oh,
helmet
shit.
cam from your backpack.
Yep, and also that means that some of you guys have altered your loadouts. So those of you who were not able to load on your loadout, that means that you have something that weren't supposed to be in there, that wasn't instructed to you to grab during recruit training. And as the PM you saw earlier, do not alter your loadouts and all that stuff like that. Yes, Sergeant Margetta?
Come over here for a minute.
Helmet cam? I got knots.
For you, it might be.
No, I took it from your backpack. You had a helmet cam.
Lipo?
No.
Just make sure you save for next time.
Did we not turn on day one?
I believe you also
Yeah, we did.
I didn't.
Yeah, I did. I went to go press day 1 activate.
Yeah, but you.
But you don't have a grenadier.
Private
Sure,
Carter,
because
stop putting that
we
man
should
in
have a
the-
flag up there.
I sure thought I activated day 1.
38 kilograms.
Yeah, you'll definitely want to drop those HE grenade rounds when you can.
Roger, will do. Thank you.
Alright. Guys, fortunately, our days did not load for some reason. We're gonna go ahead and load it right now. But you guys,
What are we gonna go over? I can put something up real
we're
quick.
just trying to shoot these rockets.
Alright, yep. I'll teleport us.
Alright.
Just take this teleport when I say.
Alright,
Private Tate.
will you guys be able to stay on about maybe 5 minutes after the required time?
Yeah.
Roger.
Yeah, 2 people.
Saying no, Private Tate.
Alright, that's Carter.
Hold on. Your bag I was looking at.
Alright, Ramirez, Lanier,
Okay, yeah.
Mikhail, and Tay. I need a yes from you guys.
The blue smoke.
Alright, y'all
orange
can take a
smoke, switch the
teleporter.
flashes out, and you don't need to.
Alright, get over here. Go ahead and teleport to Alpha. Assuming it's Alpha.
Zorn, how do you shoulder your weapon again?
You press 0. Alright, well, day 1's loaded now.
So I spent that guy a question.
Yes.
Earlier, the guys were saying condition for the weapon, and I pretty much get that now. Is remove the magazine. What do
TP
the
to
other
fun.
conditions mean?
1 second, guys. Make sure TP to fun. Conditions. Condition 4 means that you remove the magazine off your rifle and you put it in your backpack. Slinging your rifle means just to sling it on your shoulder. And that's the only conditions you mainly be hearing most of the time throughout OSUT.
Okay.
And we'll go over the rest later on. We don't have time to explain all of them. Go ahead, teleport to fun, everybody. Alright. Go ahead and get your stuff online. And Margietta, Sergeant Margietta. I don't know if he's here or not.
He's not here. He's back at the base.
You guys want to
We
tell
don't
him?
want to tell him.
Well, line up on this wall
Tell
here.
him that
He's right there.
There'll be a little space between each other.
Jesus Christ. Corporal McCoy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, vectors.
Confirm, sir.
Alright, I want you to range just so I know how far we're going up with my.
Roger.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're missing some. Someone go grab the other 3. Other 2.
Roger, run back.
You got it, man. All right, everyone here have vector. Press Bravo to pull them out.
How far is that?
Sergeant range is 71 meters.
Fuck that.
Edge of the field is 350.
Current range is 1 tree niner.
Alright.
Private Tate, hit Bravo to grab your vectors.
I thought I grabbed him.
Fair. That gets fair, he said.
All right, so while we wait for those to get placed down, everyone go ahead and take a knee. Where's our other two? There they are. Go ahead and take a knee. All right, so you guys know. So basically, let me go over some quick things. To pull out your vectors, you press your Bravo key. To pull out your rocket, you go ahead and press the scroll key, and it'll basically pull it out from your back. And wait till Corporal McCoy finishes, then he'll finish the rest. All right, so basically, your job right now we're showing you basically how to be a spotter and how to be an AT gunner. Okay. All right.
Roger, Sergeant.
All right, so I'm gonna go over how to basically spot. I'm sorry, Corporal McCoy will go basically go over how to spot. Corporal McCoy, front and center.
Roger, sir.
Well, I grabbed them, but they're not there.
Hey, Marge, yeah, when you get a chance, if you could just drop like a inventory box.
Make sure you guys are on the list for us, please.
Thank you.
I can do better than that.
Or an arsenal, that would work too.
Corporal McCoy's ready to go, Sergeant.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I was telling you to instruct them how to spot.
You motherfuckers.
Say again, Sergeant.
Instruct them how to spot.
Roger that. Can everybody hear me on both sides here?
Roger that on
Roger.
I can hear you.
All right. So the procedure for spotting, when you pull out your vectors, you're gonna use your right click to bring them up, look down the sights. There's two main keys here. To get the bearing of the target, you're gonna hold down the tab key. You'll see a bearing pop up on the left side of your vectors. Everyone tracking on that?
Roger.
Tracking.
Roger.
All right. To get the range, you're gonna hold down the Romeo or R key. Hold it down until you see a little circle pop up, and then you release it, and that'll give you the range of the target. And as you notice, they come up, it gets rid of the bearing when you pull the range, so you can hit them both simultaneously, Tab and Romeo, and that will bring them both up and stay on your screen, so you don't have to worry about trying to remember one or the other. They'll both be there. Anyone having issues with that?
Negative, sir.
Roger.
Negative, Sergeant.
Thank you for the motion, just Corporal, but thank you. All right, so this is the basic information you want to give as a spotter. You want to give the bearing and range. So let's say I pick this BMP that's directly in front here. So when I call it up, I'm going to say we have a BMP bearing 249er, break, range 196. That's the call out. Now the person firing the rocket is going to call back. They're going to repeat. They're going to say, they're going to read back. That's the term I was looking for. They're going to read back the bearing and range on the target. So once that is called, the AT gunner will say, Roger, BMP, bearing 249er, range 196.
Well, I'm glad you're not trying to miss any video, Nick. I'm glad about that,
Any
man.
confusion on that?
Are you able to watch my Twitch streams as well?
Okay, good. This is a two-man job. So at that point, the person using the rocket will have their AT prepped. They're going to call AT prep, so when they pull the rocket out, and they're going to hit Romeo again to bring the sights up. At that point, they will zero their sights by pushing the page up and page down key to get the closest 50-meter increment to that range.
If you guys want to talk to me after this
At that
stream,
point,
you can on
once
that
the
Discord
target is
link.
sighted,
I'll meet you guys in that lounge.
The person that is firing the rocket will call backblast clear. The person sighting or spotting will look behind to ensure that the backblast of the rocket is clear. They'll respond with backblast clear.
Oh, that's a
If the
corporal. That's
backblast
not a
is not
sergeant.
clear, they will say,
I was saying,
"Not clear,"
you can follow me on
and
Twitch
the
as
AT
well.
will
That'll let
call
you
the
know when I'm
second time to
streaming.
clear the backblast. It's important to remember this.
So and I was also saying if you want to talk to me, you could talk to me on that Discord link I just sent you as
If it's
well.
not clear after 2 calls, you're clear to fire to eliminate the threat. Once it's confirmed that your backblast is clear, the gunner will call rocket, rocket, rocket.
You have
fire the
what?
Weapon. Once it's fired, they will immediately dispose of their AT-4 by dropping it on the ground and pull their rifle out to engage possible dismounts. It is the job of the spotter to give a battle damage assessment. They will say whether it was a hit or miss. and whether or not the target is smoking or catastrophic, and if there are dismounts or not. Any questions on the procedure?
Okay, I'll just talk to you. You just talk to me, I guess, then.
Negative, sir. Or Corporal.
Negative, Corporal.
All right. All right, Sergeant, you want the airman and I to give a quick demo?
I'll go over being be the AT gunner, and then we'll go to do a demo all together.
Roger that. Okay, so again, as the AT gunner, the order will be given from your fire team leader to prep AT. That is your signal to bring out your launcher by pressing the 3 key. And once the launcher's out, you have to push the Romeo key again to bring the sights out. That will unlock the weapon and remove the safety. Once you have read back the range and bearing that has been given to you, and you have confirmed that your weapon is sighted properly, you will call backblast clear. Your spotter will give the confirmation that your backblast is clear. And once that is confirmed, you will call rocket,
scroll up in chat. Actually, you didn't.
You are firing your weapon. And at that point, you will fire, dispose of of the AT-4, and prepare to engage any foot mobiles that are exiting the vehicle. We have any questions on the two jobs here?
Actually, Corporal, I do have one question. Is it better to range shorter or higher?
That is a personal preference. The usual SOP is to range it as close as you can, because the AT-4 only ranges in 50-meter increments. So if you want to kind of round up to the closest 50-meter kind of sighting, if that makes sense.
Roger, Corporal. Thank you.
So basically, if the target's maybe 270 meters, you can range at 250, 300, whatever you feel like is better for you, and you just aim it up if it's 200, and if you range it like below 250 and up, you range it below 250 or 300. Well, you get the point. It's based off your own standards, however you want to do it. Like Corporal McCoy said.
Probably you give a comment?
Yes, I stream on both platforms, but when I stream Siege, I only stream it on Twitch.
Yep.
Roger. Okay. Most common mistake I see people when aiming an AT-4 is they'll expect it to drop like a rock, like in a lot of other games, like Call of Duty or something. Inside of 300 meters, if you zero and aim, if you zero it to the nearest increment, it should land within a foot or so of your crosshairs. So don't go trying to put Kentucky windage on the thing. Just aim at the BTR. That's all.
Thank you, Private.
Alright, so I'll be the spotter, and guess you'll be the AT gunner then.
Roger that.
Or
Make
pretend
sure
you are.
your earplugs in at this time.
And to do that, control windows, equipment, earplugs in. Control windows, equipment, earplugs in.
Yeah, speak up now if you do not have your earplugs in.
Roger, I don't have my earplugs.
I got it. Sure.
Or who is it?
Tejas.
Here, I got him.
Yep, and who else?
You got full arsenals behind him.
Who else needs your earplug? Who else needs your earplugs?
Thank you.
Make sure you tell Private Reed. Alright, also gotta tell you guys, make sure you're on yelling whenever you do this stuff. Spotting, saying rocket, 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 stuff like that. And also when you're throwing your grenade, you say frag out, make sure you're on yelling. Don't be on whisper. Frag out! No one's gonna hear you, okay? So make sure you're on yelling whenever you're doing any of the stuff that we've told you about. Alright, I go ahead and begin.
Alright, Roger, we doing a run here? You spotting, Sergeant?
Yep, affirm.
Alright, everyone to the left of me, you might want to spread out. About 5 meters. Ramirez, move over.
Yes, I do make short videos on YouTube as well.
Wide, so you want to
sometimes
sure that
I'm starting to do that again.
As well.
Alright, BMP, bearing 245. Range 223.
Roger. BMP,
bearing 245. Go ahead.
BMP bearing 245, range 223, AT prepped. Backblast clear.
Clear.
Rocket, rocket, rocket.
Hit, not catastrophic. Alpha is actual. Or black on AT.
Okay.
Yep, it's a BMP. He hit it from the sides, which is one of the good effective hits from it. But now, something like to me, the armor is improved now from the last update. It takes more shots to hit him down. Alright, everyone get the standpoint of how to be a spotter and a gunner, correct?
Roger.
Roger, Sergeant.
Alright, time is to pair you guys together. Alright. Alright, you two make love with each other. Alright, alright, Tate, get closer to McPherson. I know he may bite, but you two make love with each other. Tellus and Mikhail, you guys make love with each other, I'm sorry. And Carter, you can be asexual if you want. I'm just kidding. We'll go partner you up with someone else. Who wants to be with Private Carter?
I'll do it, Sergeant.
Alright. It's a good day to be asexual, Carter.
Alright, I'll arrange for you.
Alright, make sure you guys are on normal or whisper. So I know I said go on yelling, but for this portion, since all of us are over here and we don't want to hear people getting out hearing the wrong numbers, so please make sure you go on whispering and spotting for somebody. Take initiative. Go ahead and talk to each other. Who wants to spot our gun. But both of you would be shooting your rocket today. Okay?
Alright, I got a BMP bearing 254, range is approximately 190.
No. That would be fine.
I guess it kind of is proving grounds. I guess if you want to say that. Bandito.
BTR.
For some reason, Bandito 1 sounds like Bandit on Rainbow Six Siege.
Can you repeat that? Tell us.
Okay.
More like 245. Or excuse me, yeah, 234.
Alright.
Roger, Barry. 234. The one that's active?
Yep.
We have BTR
Alright.
bearing 2,
What about
4, 6.
Let's see if they heard. Listen.
Range 193.
You repeat the range again?
See if they learn to pull their rifles out.
Roger that.
Bearing 255.
Oh.
Okay, BTR bearing 255.
Your pistol ain't gonna do nothing to that.
Be clear, should you say 224?
Clear?
I said 255.
Roger.
Rocket.
Bearing
Do you know
254.
what the
approximately 190
starting
meters.
sighting is on it?
What do you mean starting side?
That goes
It's
very
50
clear.
meters.
Clear.
Yeah, that's what it's.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay,
Rocket.
Yeah,
That was a good hit. But it didn't blow up.
It whacked the reactive on the back of it.
2, 4, 6.
Clear.
But that was not the target.
BTR, you want to aim under the turret.
Oh, he hit the right front of that. No, the back of that. Well, at least he hit the engine block of that BMP.
Yeah. The very back of a BTR is just true barrier. The engine block is farther forward, so all he did was put it through the passenger section. Yeah, the solid hit.
Just imagine that actually going through the whole cabin. Well, through the cargo into the cabin. That has to hurt. Being pushed. And then getting your bodies being squished.
Well, heat rockets penetrate the armor and then detonate.
Say again, please.
It got a little bit more of a squish.
BTR.
I heard BTR.
Okay, difficult to hearing. Hang on, for a sec. Okay, say again.
Bearing 237, range 170, BTR. Hit.
Okay, I see BTR bearing 2, 4, 7.
Is the one with the wheels turning?
The range is.
Yeah.
Say again for the range.
237, range 170.
Okay,
It just got hit.
Okay.
They better shoot him before I shoot.
Make sure you're standing up when you got hit. How about this? Bearing 232.
Hey, Sergeant Margetta, I might need new targets now.
Okay, I see BMP bearing 2, 232. Right? Second. Okay, 187. Make that
Pretty good for an OSUT. There was a hit.
Make sure you say rocket off and this is not all.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, not all kind of dropping, but they've been hit.
BMP is tracks.
You looked a little bit short.
Dang, $1,000 for AT4 replacement. And it's like it's a
English is not my first language, so bear with me, okay?
BMP is the one that's tracked.
Yeah, zip line.
Oh, okay, so backwards.
Good job.
Yeah, it's backwards. Just remember it backwards and you'll be fine.
Alright.
Are they out of AT down there?
Thank you.
Yep,
Alright.
everyone launched their rocket.
That thing, Smith.
One.
Rocket.
199er.
Alright.
Yes, Sergeant.
Rocket.
Medically over here, make sure you're all good.
My medical's good. How are you?
We think we're all good here, sir.
Green, Sergeant.
All right. Go ahead and cease fire. Shoulder any weapons that you have on your arm. I don't know if Sergeant said that or not. All right. Go ahead and form if you are. Well, yeah, if you are a trainee, go ahead and form a school circle in front of me and Sergeant Margietta. Go ahead, Neil.
Sergeant Smith, I forget how to sling it.
0.
The top number pad 0.
Yeah, you're bleeding. I got your leg.
How much do I need? Any money, any amount of money can help. I don't care. But books are expensive. But any amount of money can help. $5, $10, any amount. All right. Let's see here. All right. With 7 of you here today, tomorrow, not tomorrow, so Thursday, will be your day 2. And let you guys know that as PV1s, you are allowed to fill in for any squad training. With that said, you can fill in for Havoc 2-3. The squad training is tomorrow, which is Wednesday, at 2000. So you guys can fill in for their squad training if need be, but you gotta make sure you're on 30 minutes before their start time. Now, you guys feel like you learned a lot of stuff today?
Yes, Sergeant.
Took a lot of notes?
Took a lot of notes.
Alright, good. Remember, they say it's always important that you actually, when you take notes, you make your retention, so make sure you practice on those, because you don't want to forget anything during your quiz. Senior Minazaki? Next stream will be either later on today or tomorrow.
To a calendar, it has pretty much, I believe, all the updated squad training times, so make sure you take a look at that if you want to fill in for any of them. Thank you very much, Sergeant.
Thank you, Sierra Man. Alright, so like you said, those are when all squad trainings are all happening before you get billeted. However, as PV1, you're not allowed to fill in for any official settings such as FTXs or operations, but you can fill in for platoon trainings and squad trainings. Now, with that said, you guys have any questions for us?
Negative, Sergeant.
Okay. Alright, so let you guys know, your direct training command is no longer your recruit trainer. It is Sergeant Margietta and I. So if you have any questions, please message us on the forums or message us on TeamSpeak. Him and I are always on TeamSpeak 24/7. If it says I'm away, just go ahead and send me a PM or poke me, and I reply back to that message as soon as possible. So like I said, we are your direct training command. Now, for this whole time, your 3 days in OSUT, if you ever do decide to make yourself a new loadout, or get a loadout for liberation, or whichever unofficial setting it is can be, make sure that you create a new loadout called a different name. Private Mikhail, you're hot micing. So, like I said, if you ever decide to make yourself a new loadout or whatever, please actually save it as a new loadout and name it to something different. Please do not replace your OSUT loadout, because it may be stuff that you may need during the next time of training that you may not have. Even though we will have arsenals near you, it just you'll basically waste everyone else's time trying to get that loadout set. So please make sure you do that. And if you have any problems with any person that may not let you fill in if they do have room left over and they won't let you fill in for them. They're supposed to let you in, first of all. And secondly, if I'm on, just message me and then I'll see what we can do from there. Or message Sergeant Marjad if he is on. From there, you guys go ahead and sit up on your feet. Alright, class attention. Class dismissed. See y'all on Thursday, same time.
Thank you, sir.
Gentlemen.
Thanks, Sergeant.
Oh, actually, Sergeant Marjad, you had anything? No? You were talking, we can't hear you probably.
So, Margaret?
I didn't hear my name. Yep. No, I have nothing. Y'all did good today. Just keep up the good work.
Thanks, Sergeant.
Yep.
Ooh.
No, we work for a living. Don't salute us. If anyone wants to hang out and fix their loadouts, I'm willing to hang and help you with that. Those are all
I'll get that set now. Yeah.
I could do that on the lib server, right? I could go on there and fix the loadouts. I think it's the helmet that's causing it to gray out like that.
What's the liberation server? I think would be the patrol op server, since it has the standard 506 arsenal.
Gotcha.
I recommend that you use the patrol op server if you want to fix your loadouts.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you, sir.
User disconnected from your channel.
Congratulations, Senior.
I apparently am a lieutenant now. I didn't realize TACP could become lieutenants. That's new.
Okay. Now are. Alright.
Yeah, it's just airmen, but
User disconnected from your channel. User disconnected from your channel.
Wanted to fly, but they still have their shit going on, so I don't want to chance it.
I think they're still doing that. Let me see. What did it?
Yeah, they're still doing it.
I'm just talking them through the helmet cam.
Dang, I got like 3 messages, Christ.
Hey, good night, Sergeant. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
User disconnected from your channel.
Night, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
User disconnected from your channel.
You know,
Do you need any help with your loadout there?
I was trying to figure out the difference between the RCO and the RMR, but the RMR seems to be better because it has the CCO on top.
Yeah, the one
that's the only difference, really.
Yeah, well, I really cannot aim with the that sight that's on top. Well, it's not even a sight; it's just looking down.
Yeah. The CQB optic helps a lot.
It really does.
But yeah, the ACOG doesn't have the same range markers that the RCO has, so
yeah,
it also makes you see the iron sights through the ACOG as well. So I'm not a fan of that.
It's
some people like it. It's preference at that point.
It's now that you pointed it out, it's going to get annoying. Thanks, Corporal. Fine, just a second ago. He's just an extra specialist for life.
Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. We got to end the stream.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be streaming soon. Hopefully.
I think I'm done here,
if you
guys.
want to talk,
Appreciate the help.
No problem. Anytime.
Nick,
fun up
you
going
can
on?
if you want to. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, man.
Do not know.
Like I said, I'll be streaming soon, maybe a few minutes, possibly Rainbow Six Siege, and I gotta go to bed to get ready for class tomorrow. But thank you guys so much for watching. And I'm doing fine, and you, Nick? Probably, Nick's probably gone.